Whew. Yes, I know. I'm sorry, no audio. I was getting a couple of things set and getting myself in the vibe, getting myself a little bit of music going. Helps me get in the vibe. Today we got an interesting show. Of course, it's not a super a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. It seems like kind of the same issues have kind of been kind of going about over and over and over, and it just seems like a continuation. So we're going to double down and talk a little bit more about these things and some of the consistent fallouts. So I have it titled Easter Crucifixions, Gail King the Astronaut, and more. And so that and more, we're going to have a special guest. Not sure exactly when he'll tap in. My apologies on that because I did not double check with him, the night before and everything. And so um, he's kind of having to, you know, he's kind of having to work around me, who's the problem here in this one. So apologies for that. But um, let me see if he. Oh shoot, that might be our guest right there. See, look at him. Even with me making all my screw ups and my screw ups, brother, still.
Hey
So,
man, what's going on, man? How you doing? Hey,
what's
my
up?
bad, bro. I
And
apologize. I apologize for
no,
coming so
no,
late,
you're
bro.
good. I told
Yeah,
the audience, I said, y'all,
yeah,
I didn't even like hit the brother up the night before to double check, give him
yeah,
time,
yeah. Nah,
and
but
he,
we talked earlier. We
yeah,
talked at the beginning of the week. I told you I was gonna be here. So
yeah.
damn, I was gonna ask you, bro. Is there a way I can? Well, first off, how you doing? Nice to formally meet you. My
I'm
name
doing
is Adam.
good, brother. I'm doing
Yeah,
good.
nice to meet you, man. I was gonna ask you if you know how I can stream this to my stream as well, because I wanted to stream it.
Yeah,
Because this,
yeah,
this is my first time doing this, by the way. So I'm excited.
yeah. Of course, of
Yeah, I'm very
course.
excited. Yes, sir.
So, so y'all know how this chance encounter came about. Y'all know that I'm always trying to do collaborations and look for other content creators, and I'm always happy to see young positive black content creators out there. And I mean, this brother right here, I know that y'all know me, I can be a little bit more of a black pill, as you say, but I like the energy that he brings. I like the fact that it's a younger kid, sorry, younger man. I
No,
don't
it's all good. It's all good. I
I
know I'm
like
young.
the fact that watching his streams. For y'all who are not familiar, this is Black Adam. Black Adam, from what I've seen so far, is an artist. He does do music, so he has the
Yes, sir.
music thing going on. He's covering some of the music news that goes on, and at the same time, he's been covering some of the politics stuff. And so, I ran across him by I was searching out any channels who was talking about Trump's cabinet and going through the different members of the cabinet, and I was very impressed that Black Adam was covering it, and he did, like, I want to say a 2 or 3 part on it. So I was very impressed that he actually put forth the effort to actually like really go through. And I honestly was just loving his energy the whole time because he brings a positive, exuberance that I really dig. And so I wanted to kind of get on screen with him and kind of share some of that and him bring some of that. Also, I got to figure out how to get a soundboard and all that because some of the sound effects he be doing, it just had me fucking like, I would
Hey,
just put that out there. So without further ado, Black Adam, welcome to the political matrix, and say hello, everybody. Let them know who you are.
hello, everybody. I can't see anybody. Oh, I see the comments now. Damn, what's up, everybody? First things first. How do you top that, man? I wish I had my soundboard so I could hit the buzzer. How do you top that? How do you top that? And thank you for watching. First off,
Mhm.
I met young Morpheus. He was watching. He was in the show. He was responding. And I tell people that look like us all the time. The main thing y'all got to realize is we're part of the community, so we have to know what's going on in the community. You feel what I'm saying? So me doing Trump's Inner Circle, that was just because people need to know who's in power. Like instead of complaining about it, I'm the type of person I take action. I'm very I don't even know. Like I said, I can't top what he said, but I'm very I'm off the fly with it. I'm kind of off the fly with it. But like I said, I do what I do, and what I believe when it comes to people that look like us, the reason why we're in the current situation that we're in or the current state of affairs is because we don't take certain things as serious. We sit there and complain. And I'm not saying any one of us specifically, I'm saying collectively. And when it comes to Black people, I've said this on my stream, Young Morpheus knows. You know, Black people are not monolithic in their thinking, and that's okay. But that kind of puts us behind in terms of all the other communities, because all the other communities align along the fact of, let's say push come to shove, something negative happens or something extreme happens, you know, they get behind each other. So that's why I kind of, you know, with Trump's Inner Circle, I did those really just to show people, hey, this is what's going on. These are who these people are. This is your administration. Pay attention to the cabinet, because they're going to be the administration for the next 4 years. And I'm not saying anybody specifically. I'm just saying, instead of crying about it on social media, like me personally, the way my life has went, you know, I've always had to be held accountable. I've always been held to a standard. Shout out to my parents. Shout out to Papa Black. Like, I kind of created my own little, you know, people might think I'm a little weird, but I created my own little thing. So I call my dad like Papa Black, and then shout out to my stepmama, and I call my girl like Black Madam. Shout out to Black Madam. But I'm saying, so, you know, my dad held me to a standard. So I came from like putting in work. And I didn't realize my dad used to say these things to me, but my dad sheltered me from the world. So I didn't understand these kind of things till I got older and I started seeing it for myself. Now that I'm aware, you know, I'm just giving back, like Morpheus said, to the younger generation. You know, I'm young too. I'm in my 20s. I'm in my mid to late 20s. Yeah, I'm giving back to the younger generation, because I used to want to be into these things, but I didn't really understand how it works. And now that I understand how it works, you know, I just try and put people on game. I'm not ever going to say the truth, though, because the game is sold and not told. But I say parts of the truth, and you guys can put two and two together. And that's also because, shout out to the Fedi Gov. I refer to the federal government as the Fedi Gov. You know, they're watching. So if you know too much, I learned this too in my own personals. If you know too much as a Black man, people tend to shun you. So imagine majority of the people I came up with, I don't speak to. I don't know if that's a normal thing for everybody, but we don't talk. And I realized, looking back in time, is because they ain't like, you know, nobody likes to know it all. And I'm not saying that I am one, but I do. Like I said, I push the bar. Even when Young Morpheus say he liked my energy, I remember my homie was telling me, he said I sound like I'm always rapping. So I am a musical artist. Shout out to everybody. Y'all can look me up, Black Adam, all platforms. I represent the Adam Effect. It's something I created, named after yours truly. You get all my links. Yeah, like I said, the Adam Effect, I represent the core, I represent the resistance. The resistance is something I created for those who feel like they're not a part of something. You can be a part of something. My bad, that was a mouthful, but like I said, how do I beat what you said? How do I beat what you said?
That's good. That's what I want. That's why I wanted everybody to get to meet you. And one thing that I like to do, just like you talk about how it's a community and the resistance, I always like to shout out to my audience. Luckily, because I am one of the shunned ones also, it keeps the circle a little bit lower. So the people we have here most of the time are the ones who are here. They're gonna be here whether the notification gets to them or not. They're part of this community. They go back and forth in there, and it's like we just have a big room and we're all just talking. This is just a big conversation. So I want to shout out to Game.Film, Nina, of course, Abundance Protocol, Hamza. What's up, Hamza? You're not always in here, so it's always good to see you. You always DM me, dropping me good stuff. Yes, the madam of the show, Brew Bones. La Senora Dominique says happy Easter, Marcus and guest. Teal will be here a little bit later. She has some errands and stuff that she had to take care of, but she'll be in. Of course, y'all know Saturday night she'll be doing her stepping thing, so she might have some videos and stuff. Apologies for not getting that video isolated of her stand-up, but we will get that on here soon. I'll be working on that probably sometime tonight. And I see Marietta Israel, which of course that's your Nina. So good to see you. I see we got more people tuning in here. And if you are new, feel free to just hop in there and join in the conversation. This show is going to be a little bit more relaxed than our show's always relaxed, but it's going to be a little bit just kind of more ebb and flow and kind of go with it, because I got Black Adam here and I like for everything to just be genuine and natural. Y'all get our real reaction. I remember his stream just the other day. He had explained to people like, yo, I'm doing this off the top of the dome. There's no script here. I'm not reading off of no screen. I'm just going. I see Lanina in the building. A dingo ate me, baby. It's always good to see you. And for those, oh, that's right. I forgot. Apologies. For those who celebrate Easter, you know, happy Easter to you guys. Of course, the people who know me, y'all know I don't observe Easter. I observe Passover. But nonetheless, I got some interesting stuff that I got an interesting video. Liz sent me something about Easter. That's why I got that entitled Easter Crucifixions. It's kind of wild, kind of crazy. But Black Adam, how's your day going so far with this holiday?
Man, look, bro. Well, not to call you bro because you older than me. Man, look, sir. Somebody almost said, look, you know why I came late? You want to know why I came late? What's up? Now go ahead. My bad. I saw fast.
Man, we all good.
Yeah, man. So look, I came late because somebody actually almost hit me while I was driving. And not like, oh, you know, they weren't paying attention. Like they sped up and almost hit me. So I thought somebody was trying to do me in. Like, you know, when, like, imagine, you know, you're in the hood or whatever the case may have. You might have beef with somebody. Not saying I have beef with anybody, but I'm saying, so imagine somebody just floored it and like try and drove by you. So I don't know if he was trying to like drift his car or whatever. And then the crazy thing is he stays in the apartments I stay in. So, you know, I told him go in front of me. Yeah. So I'm like, yo, you know, he looking at me. I'm looking at him. And I'm like, bro, what's going on here? What's going down? But I mean, other than that, my day is cool. You know, I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm from Miami-Dade. I'm from Miami, North Miami, born and raised in the county of Dade. Normally I hit my buttons, but I can't hit my buttons. So I feel kind of naked. But yeah, I'm from Miami. So my family's back home. I'm out here. I stay in Texas. Shout out to Texas. Texas, what's up? I stay out here in Texas by my lonely. I got my dog with me. She's asleep, Melody. But yeah, I mean, shit. It's
what part of Texas?
You know, I'm in the A with it, but you know, yeah, we ain't gonna get too specific. You see, I'm a little worried about my stream. My stream kind of being a little funny.
I've been fighting stream issues probably the last month because I switched over to a different provider. So I'm hardwired in right now. So hopefully that works.
Yeah, same. I kind of got, like, if you've seen the setup crazy right now, put some money into it. But yeah, so you know, today, all in all, today has just been a chill day for me. I was talking about earlier in my stream, I don't know if you've seen it on my gaming stream. I was saying, man, I didn't even eat yet. I still ain't even eat yet just to show up because I was like, damn, I'm not gonna sit there and eat and be all sluggish and stuff. So
you can eat on the stream, man.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good. We just met, guys. I don't know how I feel yet. You know, I'm a little skeptical. I'm playing.
You don't even have to worry, man. It's the moment you come in here, it's like, it's like a family reunion. Anybody come in the door, go grab a plate, get comfortable, and you know that's how I do it over here. And sometimes we mix a little bit of humor in. Sometimes it's straight kind of like I'm giving them their vegetables before the main course, but sometimes it's just how it gotta be. And you said you're originally from the Dade, you know, so
yes, sir.
305, huh?
Yes,
well,
sir.
I lived in North Florida for probably about a good 12, 13 years or so. I was in Jacksonville.
Oh, okay. My ex, well, shout out to Black Madam. My ex stay out there. She stay out there. Yeah, she's from the Jacks. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm a nomadic kind of person, if that makes sense in a sense. And I use my words very weird too. So if I say certain stuff, you know, it means a little bit more. Let me just say that. So yeah, I'm a nomadic kind of person. I used to be a truck driver too, but that's just a whole different life that I was living. Yeah, so I've been to a lot of places. So yeah, I done been out there. You know what it is. I've been out there visiting. Like I said, my ex is from out there. All through Florida. I've been all through Florida. I got family out in Palm Beach. I got my uncle. My uncle stays out in Port St. Lucie right now. So yeah, all my family out there. I got family in New York. Technically, I got family. I got people out here that I know out here too. But like I said, you know, I'm doing the thing that everybody does. I'm playing the game. So, you know, when you play the game, yeah, I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. But I say a lot of people's my family. We all over the place, you know. So yeah, Miami-Dade.
Yeah, I got family everywhere too. So
yes, sir.
I completely understand. I would say apologize for a minute if I look like I'm just looking away or whatever. No,
you good. You good, fam. You good. Do what you got to do.
I want to show y'all this because this is wild. I mean, I really didn't even know how to categorize what I was seeing. hopefully I can find the same video, or maybe I got to send it through my phone.
And also,
But
Morpheus, real quick, not to cut you off,
yes,
family.
sir, yes, sir.
I was gonna say, if I look like I'm looking away, I'm trying to sign up to StreamYard so I can stream this to my people as well, so they can go check you out and stuff. So just so you know,
most definitely. I think I might have to send it through my phone. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So y'all bear with me.
I got it. I think I got it.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah, I think I got it because I'm on here and it's showing me a thing that says share to your audience, and I'm just signing up right now. So I think I'm good. I should be good.
Yeah, that's yeah. It should say share to your audience, and then that should put to your live stream right now.
Sir.
Okay,
I'm gonna just do a free trial real quick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'll give you a sec. You know, that way you be able to get yours up and running, and then we cooking with Crisco at that point.
All right, cool. Let me I'm trying to find my wallet because I don't got the card off the top of my head. All right, hold on. I'm right here, guys. I'm right here. 1 second. I'm going to my bed, which is right over there.
It should let you do free stream. Let's see. I'm trying to do one last thing. I guess that's what I could just send it to him real quick and then be able to find it in my. So ignore what I just sent you. I'm about to pull that up on the screen.
All right.
I just had to temporarily send it to you. That way I can have it for quick reference.
Yes, sir.
Oh, dang it, I'm not on the right one. Because I have multiple what is it? Twitters.
Oh, it's all good. I got like 20 accounts. You know, you got to just collect accounts if you're taking this serious. It's just part of the social media game. Happy 420, everybody. I don't smoke anymore. So, hey, let me just put that out there.
I did notice Lania, she had put that out there.
Yeah. Everybody token.
There we go. Okay. Now I put it in the right chat. So I'm going to show y'all this real quick. This is crazy work. And I'm like, I really don't even know how to categorize what this is. Because for those who are people of faith, and let's say whether you believe in the Passover, not believe in the Passover, whether you celebrate Passover, whether you celebrate Easter or whatever, and what it represents, just the act of doing this, because I kind of don't want to spoil it. I want to show y'all first. Okay, there we go. I got it pulled up. Now I just got to share. So y'all can see, because I was like, I don't really even know how to describe what is it, because some people could go into this a form of crazy paganism, or I really don't know. So I'm gonna just share it with y'all first. So do y'all see this?
Yep.
So apparently we have people who are doing real crucifixions to show their, I guess, reverence for Christ. I don't even, Black Adam, what do you have to say to that?
Man, it's crazy. We was like, for example, it's this thing I do on my stream. It's called Skeptical Sundays. I'm bringing it back. It's a little series I have going on where we discuss conspiracy theories and stuff, or skepticism. That's why I always say I'm a skeptic, and I don't necessarily know what to believe. What I do know is it's a bit weird. I was looking up conspiracy theories about Easter just to see what's going on with that. And yeah, there was describing how I don't know what exactly it is. I'm not gonna say it's demonic, but it is a bit weird. And it's interesting that you said you don't practice it. I was thinking to myself, because I haven't really been celebrating holidays for the last few years. I would say maybe 2-3 years. I've just been on the grind, you know, doing what it does. So when it comes to this specifically, I don't know, man. I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on in the world, and I see a lot of weird shit. Excuse my French, you know, it's Sunday, but
good on here.
Yeah, bro. I see a lot of weird shit, bro. I don't know what to believe no more, bro. But one thing I do know is, you know, we have cameras, so we can see more of the weird stuff going on. So it may be true, but I know it's from an angle, if that makes sense. Like, it's from a certain perspective. Like, it's not, I don't know what they doing. I don't know if it's for a show, but what it looks like right here, It's a bit extreme. I
Yes.
wouldn't do it. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do it, but we would have to look more into the story. I don't know if you can pull up the article or whatever the case may have, because it's the Daily Mail. If you can pull up the article, let me see. Yeah, click view.
I guess it's not letting me go in.
It's not letting you go in. Hey, man, I would say look it up on Google. You know how I do on my stream. We go to Google. Yeah, we go to Google and then we go. Yeah, verify. I'm about to add you to my stream too. 1 second. I signed up already. I'm adding you on my destination.
A screenshot. So, I mean, like, yes, I have heard of people carrying their own cross, and I get the symbolism to that. But like, when you get to the point where you're literally putting nails through your hands and feet, that gets to a different level. I mean, I have seen like the Baptist people who walk through and they have the tendrils with the hooks on it, and they're whipping their backs. That's the thing. It's not anything in any religious text that I've seen that tells you have to do that. And I mean, outside of like, you shouldn't destroy your temple. I mean, I guess technically that could be looked at as a sin by desecrating or destroying your temple. But I mean, it's so outside of the box on what they're doing here. I really don't even. It leaves me almost lost for words to try to explain this. I guess he should be right back. He's probably working on the There we go. So here, let me put it in the chat.
My bad, guys.
At Black Adam. So
my audience.
Here it is. I just put that in the chat. That's
what up,
how
y'all?
You
can see me, right?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, my bad. It made me leave because I was about to add my people on here too. If I have any.
Oh yeah, you can do it. It should let you do that.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, go on ahead. More the merrier.
Yeah, and everybody, if you wanted to look me up and stuff, you can look up Black Adam. You can put it the way Morpheus put it in the chat, or you can find, like I said, if you go to any one of my stuff, mainly my Instagram. I got to build up my following though, but you can find all my links. If you look up all my links, look up my name, you'll find it there. You can put a space. Look for my face. You should be able to find me.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if on the thumbnail, I made sure to put your the way it is your YouTube channel. I put that on there that way. If anybody's going through and looking at it, or they stop the stream, or they look up later to try to remember, it'll have, it has your YouTube channel handle there and the picture, so they should be able to find you. Nina says they would rather do that than feed the hungry and visit the prisoner. I can't disagree with you there. But since you would ask something like about Easter a little bit, which one thing which I do, yes, she says, cool, you're a gamer. So the people who were into gamers and following gamers, he does game also. So he got multiple different, he got his hands in multiple different pies.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I mean, to be honest, I actually have 4 YouTube channels.
Oh, there you go. Okay, so it's not just me. It's not just me.
I started off my original channel by myself, and it was doing, just politics. And then I eventually started pissing some people off. I'll just say that.
Hey man, I've been there.
My channel got
I've been there.
And then I started this channel after I kind of had a little bit of awakening and saw a whole bunch of different things, which expanded my viewpoint on politics, history, and it took my background of history and merging all the stuff together versus looking at it separate, or my knowledge of history over here, my knowledge of religion over there, my knowledge of politics here, and I finally all put it together. And so that's what's built this channel about 4.5 years ago or so. And then I wanted to have my faith-based stuff. I have my other channel, Hebrew Apologetics, which is separate. And so that's been on a little hiatus because of the streaming issues, but for y'all who do watch that, I will be kicking that back up sometime soon. And then I have my other channel, Young Morpheus Reviews, because my one of my passions is movies. So I'm always reviewing movies, and I guess I can tell y'all this. I got some writing projects that I'm working on right now.
Okay. Damn, so, we're gonna hit the applause. Y'all can't hear it, but I hit the applause. I can hear my applause. Can y'all hear that? Y'all probably can't hear that, bro.
I can't hear it. Damn. But yeah, when I was getting out of the Navy, I was planning on going to school to be a screenwriter. And so I got some stuff that I wrote, and I'm rewriting some stuff, and I'm going to be releasing an audiobook down the road.
Hey, so, man, keep doing it. Hey, I was just finna tell you guys, I've been kind of like tired these last few days because I do audiobook narration as well as a way to make some money, some side money. I actually just completed 2 books. If y'all want to go see that, I ain't gonna lie, it's a little bit extreme. So, for example, one book is,
you know about that. I want to definitely hear that.
Yeah. So, I mean, the books. Hold on, let me get the books real quick. The books are "I'm White and I Say So" and then "Devil's in the Details," and it basically discusses white supremacy in America. If y'all can handle that conversation, it's a little bit extreme because
trust me, you don't know
powerful.
About extreme. We get it here.
Okay, because it's powerful. It's gonna change the way you look at the world. Little synopsis. Just imagine we live in a world ran by capitalism. There's a dominant class and then a lower class. The dominant class feeds off of the lower class. And when you really open your eyes to it, you understand that it's in every one of us. Unfortunately, it's something that's systematically ingrained and taught to us, indoctrinated to us since we were children. And we don't realize it until you see it play out. So it comes into like colorism. And like even me personally, I realized like certain people in my family I'm not cool with. And I never understood why I was cool with them. After I helped narrate that book, I understand now because they're taught a certain thing, whereas I was taught a certain thing. So because my dad's my color, and I grew up in a household where my mom is like white, like, I mean, she's Cuban, but she's white. Her skin is white. You would think she was a white woman. So I grew up in a household where I saw 2 shades. So my parents exposed me to racism, and I seen it when we used to travel, but I never really understood it until I became older. So like I said, it's a deep conversation, very deep book. Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on one second. Coming right back. Also, it's right over there, literally.
Yeah. For those who don't know, or who just grew up in probably more of an environment like him, the racism makes a difference. What part of this country you grow up in, and your family dynamics and where you live. Just like, for Black Adam, he grew up in 305, and for people who don't understand the dynamics of Miami, it's a very multicultural place. You have a lot of people from a lot of different places. And so you do have some prejudices which come in from other countries. You got some of the old good old boys who are still there on the outskirts of that Miami area. And then you have how you have like subcultures where you have Little Havana, where you have Little Haiti, where you got, the area where the Venezuelans hang. You got the area over here where Brazilians are. You got this. You even have a split within like even the Cubano community where you have more of the white Cubans and then you have the black and brown Cubans, and you even in that you have the Batista. I call them the Batista Cubanos, and you have the Che Guevara Castro side, and so you got all of these different groups going on, and then you have the Jewish community that's mixed into this, and then you have these people who are coming from Georgia and Alabama and all that mixed in, and then a couple of people from different parts of the Midwest, and then you have big money come in there, and then you got deep poverty over there, and then you got the inner city mixture in there with that hood element of Miami also, and so he has that going on. And then for like somebody like me, I grew up in Kansas City, where you got a whole different dynamic going on there also. And so I just kind of wanted to throw that in there for, those who aren't familiar with, especially South Florida.
And shout out to Morpheus because he broke it down perfectly. And what I was going to say was, you wouldn't, and this is where I was saying when it comes to like Black people, we kind of allow the light to be shed upon our community. So you see all the other communities that he just mentioned, you wouldn't know about these things if nobody told you. Whereas we know what goes on where there's this discrimination or there's different colorism, light skin versus dark skin. We know about that in other communities. I mean, in our community, but we don't know about that in other communities. You would have to be on the inside to know that that exists, where there's a little, I'm gonna call it political strife. There's a little strife that goes on between, the Mexican, or you got to be gang banging. If you gang banging, then like, if you go to prison, the Mexicans stay with the Mexicans. The black people stay with the black people, all that kind of stuff. So it's just a whole kind of thing. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, I'm white and I say so. And by the way, young Morpheus, I've been to Kansas City, different world.
Yeah,
world,
it is
different world. Yes, sir. I've been there when I was trucking. I had routes out there, but different world. Very gentle, very gentle, very gentle. From what I've seen, though, I don't know. I wasn't on the inside.
Depending on where you go.
Yeah. So
I grew up in the hood, like
in the hood. Yeah,
like
same.
You got like the Kansas City, Kansas area, Wyandotte County, where I grew up, where Wyandotte County has the highest. It has like the most compacted people county wise for the whole entire state on the Kansas side. And then it connects right over to Jackson County. So majority of any other crime that goes on in that city happens within this little area. Right?
Yeah, man. That's how it goes, man. It's like I said, it's a whole thing. Personally, I feel like it's perpetuated by the stigma of society. Shout out to the Fetty Gov. But I mean, hey, all I can tell y'all to do, you got to teach the youth, try and tell the youth to do better. But more so, after you teach the youth, you got to kind of put yourself in a position to where you can empower the youth to actually act upon the change. And that's the whole thing. One thing is people. One thing that I realize, majority of us, we don't make it where we want to make it because we have this whole idea of I'm gonna do it by myself because I don't want to, I don't want to turn around and then I'm gonna say infringe because we're gonna talk about politics today. I don't want to infringe on this person and turn around and put myself into a position where this person owes me or I feel like I owe this person when ideally you can go far by yourself, but you can go further if you have a team. And every single person that you see in the limelight that's successful has a team behind them, pushing them to be great. They're not doing it by themselves because it's impossible. Trust me. I don't know if Morpheus is doing it. I'm assuming Morpheus is doing it. I'm doing it. Doing it by yourself, you can only go so far. And I mean, it's cool in terms of the bread. You take most of the money, you keep most of the money. But push come to shove, you need to start employing people as soon as you get enough or you get to a point where you can practice economics with somebody, practice some economics. And hey, I'll pay you to help me with this. You'll turn around and pay me to help me with that. Now we're helping each other get to where we're trying to get to because we're actually making money instead of somebody doing it for free, somebody not doing it, then everybody's sitting there looking crazy. So, I mean, yeah, man, devil's in the details.
Trying to remember, did you say your father was Haitian?
Yes, sir. So my dad, technically, you guys can see I'm dark. That's why I'm Black Adam. Okay, y'all can tell.
Well, there's a lot of different darks. I mean,
yeah.
There's dark Black Americans. There's dark Haitians. There's dark Dominicans. There's dark, Colombians.
So,
dark Puerto Ricans. There's dark, or you could be like different parts of Africa. So
not facts. So I mean, technically, and that's the whole thing with slavery. It's like I don't actually know. I know enough of what my people told me to understand. Like, for example, I was raised by my father, so I don't know all of my mother's side, right? But I know that my dad, technically, I've had a granddad from what he told me. I never met the man. I had a granddad supposedly that was African, like from Africa. And then I know that my dad is Haitian. I'm a first generation American, so I consider myself American. I don't speak Creole. I actually spoke more Spanish back when I was in Miami than I did Creole because my mother, shout out to my stepmama, she took the time to actually sit down and try and teach me Spanish. And she told me, like I said, I wasn't aware of these things, but she told me, she was like, people will talk shit about you in another language. You need to know what's going on. So I'm going to teach you how to speak Spanish. So I actually knew more Spanish back when I was in the city. When I came out here, and this is where I say you guys should travel and open up your mind and your experience. I came out here, things were a little bit different. So when I speak Spanish to people, they would look at me like, I speak English. Why are you speaking Spanish to me? Not knowing that where I'm from is multicultural. So culturally, we speak Spanish to Spanish people just because we just trying to, be cool. Like it just is what it is. And, some people kind of took offense to it. So I started speaking Spanish. So, I mean, I only speak English now, but I was born and raised in I consider myself an American. I don't I'm not really tied to Haiti in that sense. Like, yeah, I guess those are my people, but I'm tied to America because these are my people. These are the things I saw coming up. So I mean, I don't know. That's like I said, it all comes back to the way society set up, and it was set up like that so they can create a dominant class and then a lower class. And the idea with the lower class is to keep everybody separated from their actual true roots and actually knowing where they come from, you know, what their actual traditions were, and creating this whole new idea of sets of traditions. So I mean, it's a whole thing. It's just how you take it.
No, that's beautiful. That's dope, man. It's funny. We'll talk off camera. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to chop it up with you about because I could tell, like,
yeah, I'm a lot.
There's a lot going on. I'm pretty sure y'all can see also. But it's the same thing out here, you know. I live in LA. I live in a city that's probably 96% Hispanic. And pretty much most of the areas around me are even that way. For those who people don't realize it, like even like Watts, which was traditionally a black area, is like 50% Hispanic, like 50%, you know, black right now. Even Compton is even, you know, a huge portion of it is Hispanic at this point. So
yeah, things are changing.
In general is very Hispanic, and so even though a lot of people here speak English, they're going to prefer to speak in Spanish. Well, depending on who you are.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so sometimes they'll sit there and act like, hey, I don't speak English because they don't want to talk to you. And then after that, you start speaking in Spanish, you know, sometimes they feel bad. They like, oh, you know, they start laughing. They're like, oh, you can speak a little bit of good Spanish because, you know, they're like, okay, I see he's trying to talk to me. But sometimes they be sitting there acting like they don't understand you just because they don't want to talk to you. But it's all good. It's all good. We love everybody. It's just sometimes you gotta chill. Some people gotta chill. I don't know. People be in their own world. Everybody going through something, okay, people? Everybody's going through something. So you got to kind of give people grace. So like even that dude I told y'all that almost hit me earlier, I gave him grace because I was going to approach him and say, yo, bro, because he was driving fast, guys. And I mean, his kid's out. So in my head, I'm like, bro, what if you hit a kid, bro? Like y'all should have seen how fast he went. Like he almost flipped his car trying to stop in the neighborhood. So I'm like, bro, what are you doing? And I was going to approach him, but I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I don't know. This dude might be crazy, bro. And you get older, you're like, man, I ain't got time for all that. I know I'm going somewhere. You know, I'm going to just leave you. I'm going to let you do what you do. So, yeah, man.
I was going to tell you, like, when I say, like, our show gets a little crazy, too. Like, one of the episodes, let me see. I wanted to pull something up and show you. I'm not gonna pull it up, but just to show you, like one of the shows I did Understanding Zionism with the antidote. And when I say understanding, we literally went back, I want to say to like the 1800s, 1700s, and start explaining all the way through and start talking about the B'nai B'rith and start talking about how Zionism traveled all the way across Europe and the ties into our government and Israel. And we start talking about the mafia connections and all that. So we go deep in. We go in. And
so look, bro. So
it ain't nothing personal. We tell it how it is.
For sure. I didn't mean to cut you off, family. I was gonna say, you know, it's crazy because if I let y'all know my personals, you would look at it weird too. So, like, for example, I'll say this because I was actually thinking about him because I was supposed to call him because it's Easter. My granddad, I have a granddad that's white. Like I'm assuming based off of my, you know, my intellect, I'm assuming that he married my grandmother and we took the last name. But I have a granddad that's white and he stays in Tennessee. And that's what I'm saying where it comes to like us as a people, like when it comes to like black people in general, we're kind of like a captured people. So it's like captured, not in the literal sense, I'm gonna say in the metaphorical sense, but we're captured. So it's like our history, we don't really know too much about our history. When I go look up who were the original Haitian people, it says they were the Taino people. Taino, yeah. So you know, and then I look at them people and I'm like, bro, do I look like these people? Kind of. But like I said, so my other granddad technically is African. So, you know, probably from Senegal or something because I'm really dark. So I already know whatever the history was, I don't know if my parents didn't want me to know the history, so I wouldn't have to go through that trauma. I don't know where my dad's mind was at. I'm assuming that's what it was. He didn't want me to know about that trauma. You know, you protect your kids sometimes, and I'm not saying he did the wrong thing, but I did want to know my history. But I don't do them. You know, I don't do like ancestry. I don't do like ancestry. Yeah, I don't do ancestry because you know if you know.
If you see the story we did probably like 2 weeks ago, we went into 23andMe, how it's going bankrupt, and it's selling off all the DNA and all the information to who knows.
Yes, sir. And it's crazy because I covered that on my stream as well. 23andMe. I remember that. That was an episode we did. It wasn't a main topic, but we discussed that as well, where people gave up their DNA. And, you know, they got the information that they got, but how can we tell when they don't actually give us the right information? Like we only know, you know, we only know what people want us to know per se. We don't know everything. So they don't actually know. They're giving you a guesstimate. And my whole thing is if you commit a crime, I'm not saying I'm committing crimes, but if you commit a crime, how they, you know, if they have your DNA, supposedly they can use that against you. So I'm just like, hey, in case I would ever commit a crime, not saying that I would, shout out to the Fetty Gov, don't kill me, please. Don't take me, please. But I'm saying if I was to ever commit a crime or do something crazy, I don't want to put myself into a predicament or a predicky, if you will. And they have my DNA and next thing you know, they take me away. So that's just the whole thing. And like I said, I don't necessarily trust the people in power.
Or I just wanted to throw this on there with you.
Go ahead.
You don't even have to commit a crime. What if you just get on the wrong side of somebody in the gov and they just say, you know what, we want to flex on you.
All right, now we talking, Morpheus.
Use your DNA.
Yep. So look.
So now we can leverage that against you to force you to do something.
Now look. Like I said, excerpts from the book. So for example, in the book discusses, in one of the books, Devil's in the Details. Both books, but Devil's in the Details is more detailed, excruciating detail, if you will. Not that long though. It's only 197 pages. The reason why I know, like I said, I did the audio book, I did the narration, so I have good memory. You know, in the book it discusses, and I talk about this on my stream. We discuss how the media is the fourth branch of government. Yep. The media is the fourth branch of unrestricted government. So every time you guys have noticed somebody has said something out of line or out of script, because the world is a stage and everybody's playing their parts, they turn around and they ruin the reputation of that person. And that's where it gets scary. So it's like Morpheus says, so you'll turn around and piss off the wrong person. Next thing you know, they throwing dirt on you. And the dirt doesn't stop. It's just the way it goes until the court of public opinion turns around and tries to crucify you. And that's my whole thing. So I don't know. Like I said, media is the fourth branch of government. People just know they watching. I'm not saying, first off, and I always say this on my stream too, so don't get weird. I'm perfectly coherent. I read every day. You know, I just like to make people question because I don't believe the lies that they told us. And that's what I say on my stuff too. I don't believe the lies that they told us because if the lies that they told us were for our benefit, we would all be in positions of power. And we're not. You know, it is what it is. So I'm okay with accepting that. I know where I'm trying to go and what I'm trying to do in the future. I ain't going to say it on the stream. Okay. I ain't going to say it on the stream. But I know what I'm trying to do. You feel me? So I understand why things are the way they are, and it's so nobody can get a bunch of people together and turn around and rebel, if you will. That's the best way to describe it. So they got to keep people down, and the best way to keep people down is to make sure people aren't actually educated on what's important. Best thing to describe that, not to do these runoff sentences so much. I always have a lot to say. The best way to describe that is that you're not taught how to make money in school. You're taught how to have a job. You're not taught to think for yourself. You're taught to do what everybody else does. So I always beg the question. That's just me.
Yeah, you're taught to be an employee. I mean, but that goes all the way into the education system and how it was set up and who set up the education system. Because if you go into it, a lot of education system was set up by the Rockefellers, and the Rockefellers were built. Y'all know in the chat.
I know. Hey, Morpheus.
I wanted to bring up this Malcolm X quote real quick.
Go ahead, Morpheus. I want to ask you a question though. How do you see how you turned around and did the picture thing? How do you do that? Can I do that as well?
What are you talking about in the back?
How you put the Daily Mail, not the background. The Daily Mail, how you just pulled that up. Can I do that as well?
Put a present down at the bottom.
Okay, cool. I didn't want to click it.
Share, and then just let me know, and then I'll be able to share it on there.
Okay, I'll just pull up an image for you. But go ahead, pull up that Malcolm X quote. I was going to show you something.
It says the media is the most powerful entity on earth. They have the power to make the innocent guilty and make the guilty innocent, and that's power because they control the minds of the masses. Malcolm X.
That's in the book. It's in the
Mm-hmm.
book. Yeah, we study the old teachings, people. You got to look at the old teachings. Oh, my bad. I didn't mean to put that up. If you put it up, that was you. Did you put it
No,
up?
I put it up.
Okay, yeah. So, like Morpheus was saying, this is a Skeptical Sundays picture, and this is what we be talking about sometimes. If you guys are into that kind of ish, shout out to the Rockefeller. Shout out to Yonina, if that's how you pronounce your name. My bad if I said it wrong. All right, so Yonina. So yeah, so Rockefellers own most of the stuff. What's the other team? No, the other family is called, I believe, the BlackRock family. BlackRock.
Well, BlackRock is the company, but I know.
Okay. Yeah. So BlackRock is the company. I haven't talked about this in a while. So yes, the sad reality of the situation is that majority of everything is owned by a select few entities, and it's so hard. Rothschild, yes, the Rothschild, and the problem about it is because the world's built on a pyramid scheme, and I always tell people this. I realized that I used to do financial planning, and this is where I realized this. I've had a lot of jobs too, people. That's what made me start working for myself. So in a different life or in a different time period of my life, I did financial planning. When I did financial planning, shout out to Yonina, she said 13 families. So I realized that it's a pyramid scheme because I remember I tried to talk to them about it. It was being real shady, and then I peep game. So once you peep game, you start to understand everything is a pyramid scheme. You can find a way in, and they'll let you in if you're willing to play the game. So best way to describe it is nepotism. If you guys know what nepotism is the idea of giving your children a better chance at getting into whatever industry you're getting into. They have a secure spot. So I use basketball. I used to play sports. I played basketball, football, track, swimming. So when I did basketball, I don't know, like I said, if my parents realized this and I didn't, but getting older, I realized that even with the NBA, like every famous basketball player that's big that you see, more than likely their kid is guaranteed a spot on an NBA team. Now, what does that say about everybody else? Now, it's the same thing. Take that same idea, right? Take that same idea and apply it to the media, apply it to politics, apply it to all these things. Now, you can still play the game and get in, but you got to kind of try and get in where you fit in. And that's the whole thing. Shout out to Yonina. She said nepotism is white people's version of DEI without the qualifications. Yeah, now it's the same thing. Look, it's the same thing. Same thing in the industry, music industry. I realized that with the music industry. I remember, I was chasing my dreams when I started doing this music stuff. Then I woke up to reality and I'm like, man, I had to accept the fact that I'll probably never be as big as Drake because I don't have the people on the inside. I'm trying to play a game where the game's already rigged for these people, because if you ain't got the bread, if you don't got the connects, you can build your own following and have people that rock with you. Now you have an audience. Okay, cool. That's cool. But past that, looking behind the surface, you don't know all these other things because all these people, for example, like in the picture, they got to get paid too.
Yep.
So that's the whole thing.
Well, and then even if you let's say you have all those certain things, it'll get you to a certain point.
Yes,
but
sir.
If you want to get to that upper echelon, like you mentioned Drake, you want to get to that Drake, that Kendrick level. You want to get to the Jay-Z's. You want to get to any of those levels. Even though this person I consider way down, even a Sexy Red, there's certain compromises that you're going to have to make.
Yep, and that's where, look, man, I got stories, man. I remember I met this dude that was a security guard. And he was security for people in the industry. This back when I'm telling you, I had so many jobs. I used to work at Sears before Sears closed down back home in Aventura. Yeah, back in the day, back when I was a youngin'. So I remember this dude pulled up, he's talking to me. I'll tell him, yeah, I do music this back when I'm on my dream chasing. Yeah, I'm gonna make it as an artist. Yeah. And then I remember he was like, oh, it's certain things that go on in the industry. I know these people, I can help you. I'm like, what you talking about? I'm listening. He's like, let me ask you this question. This about to get explicit, people. He's like, let me ask you this question. So I'm like, what's good? He's like, so let's say it's 4 rappers and 6. He said, let's say it's 4 rappers and 6 women that are naked. And I mean, it's not going to get weird. It's not going to get weird. It's going to get a little explicit. And he's like, your security there. You got to watch the place or whatever, and you're in the room because you got to make sure none of them do no crazy stuff. And he's like, how many people are naked? And I'm sitting there, man, I wish I could hit my sound. I can't hit my sound. But I'm sitting there like,
next time. You got to bring it next time.
Yeah. I got it, but I don't know how to connect it. If I knew how to connect it, boy, we'd be rolling up in here. But it's all good, though. All good, though. So, yeah, he's like, yo, so how many people are naked? I'm like, bro. So I'm sitting there doing my fingers. I'm like, bro, so you said You said four rappers. He was like, yeah. I said six women. He said, yeah. And then he said, you're the security and one more security. And he said, how many people's naked? I'm like, bro, I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, is this a trick question? I'm like, bro, okay, so 4 and 6. You said 4 and 6, right? Like, yeah. I said, okay, so it's 10. And he's like, no, that's not the right answer. I'm like, okay, so what you trying to say? He said, everybody's naked. I said, whoa, imagine I hit my buzzer. And I said, whoa, what you mean by that? He's like, you're going to be naked doing stuff too. And I looked at him. I said, yeah, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. I don't know you people
right now, boy. What the hell, boy?
Yo, it's so crazy. I gotta stop pressing them sounds. I be thinking that shit to myself. I'm like, bro, I feel like I'm going crazy because I be thinking in my head, boy, what the hell, boy? I just played it right now. I wish you guys could hear it, man. Damn. I wish I could hear it, bro. Next time, man. Next time.
Yes, definitely. Because
shout out, yo, Nina.
And like I broke down another one going into like like this is part of it, but then there's other parts too that like, and this is the kind of stuff like you perfectly at home over here talking about this stuff because we connect all of this stuff. Like some people might see, okay, well, this president gets kicked out of power in Nepal, and they see that as separate and don't realize no, that has a corresponding effect to something that's going on in politics between China and India. And that politics that's going on between China and India is actually affecting something that's going on with the EU. And that's affecting something with the EU has pressures that are being pushed on it by business interests out of the West, as some of them all the way back into America. So if you don't understand how all of these different things connect and how they affect us all as a whole, because when you start going into NATO and globalism and all that stuff, all of this stuff has been interwoven together. And it takes so many people, me, a Black Adam, many of the other channels that we deal with, Due Dissidents, I think they're live right now, who are covering all these different things from different angles. And it takes a bunch of different people to put all these pieces together. And if you're able to listen to all of these different streams, or at least catch pieces from it, you can start putting the pieces together. You just can't allow yourself to be so jaded and only pay attention to whatever the mainstream is talking about, because that's where you get lost, because that's where the trickery goes in. There's so much stuff where, because like I said before, when in college, I majored in history. So what I started doing is I stopped only looking at American history. I stopped only looking at what the British had to say. So I would look at an event that was going on. Let's say, let me take something. Let's say the Roman Empire. So I would read the history accounts from the Roman Empire, then read those accounts from the corresponding nations which they were having wars with, whether that was India, whether that was Persia, whether that was parts of North Africa, and get all of those accounts also. And when you read the different historical accounts, then you're able to see, wait a minute, why are all four of these people mentioning this, but the Romans ain't mentioning none of this stuff? And that's where you start realizing, oh, these dudes is hiding things. Oh, shoot. It looked like it pulled up your stream. Oh, shoot, you muted.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
My bad. I was trying to pull up something for later. I didn't know that it would start showing immediately. Let me stop.
No, I just hit that. So yeah, just or for future, just let me know when you want me to put it up.
Okay, so I'm gonna put something up. I'm pulling something up that's related to what you said on my Instagram through the program that I use. So I was just trying to prepare for that. My fault.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm quick on the draw. So
okay, so quick. There you go. Yeah, you know.
What's up, Chris H? I see Chris H is in the building. Cat 83. What'd you say, Cat? Said Trevor Moore did a skit similar to what Black Adam is talking about. Signed his life away to a secret society. Can't believe that stuff aired on comedy. Yes, I remember that, and I believe Trevor Moore is no longer with us shortly after that.
Heavy.
That also reminds me of. Do y'all remember when I showed that? No, I won't show it again because I got in trouble, and they took that stream down when I showed it. But old boy from No Limit, who was a security guard, I believe, for No Limit, and he said a lot of these rappers, the reason why they be on drugs and all drugged up all the time is because they're trying to kill their mind from stuff that they've done. And that's the reason why some of these people you hear, they just left Hollywood all of a sudden. And when I'm saying Hollywood, I'm talking about not only film and TV, I'm talking about music, I'm talking about all of those different things, TV, whatever. And he was talking about, they'll come in and they'll be like, yo, so you're signing a six album deal with us, right? He's like, whoa, wait a minute, that's supposed to be a 2-album deal. They're like, no, you signing a 6-album deal. He'd be like, man, forget that, I'm about to leave. And then they say, hey, bring the TV in. And they bring the TV in and they click play on it. And they're like, hey, is that you on there? Yeah. Was that what you was doing the other night? You don't remember none of it.
Yeah.
They done got you drugged up. And that goes back to that interview that I had with Tones. For y'all remember Tones? Shout out to Tones. Tones was talking about where he went to certain parties and people were coming out like, yo, don't go in there. Or he was telling people don't go in there. And they're like, yeah, we know what's going on. And also his Diddy story about Diddy acting a little funny towards him. And he had to be like, hey, bro, what the hell are you doing? And then they try to pretend like, oh, he came in there and acted a fool. Yeah, Yo Nina, you remember Tones, which he just dropped an album recently. But yeah, Diddy tried some funny business with him.
Sorry, because you stop. Shout out to Diddy, man. Hey, I don't know what to believe, bro. I don't know what to believe because, like I said, shout out to the rest of the people in the rest of the communities. I love the world, right? I love the world. My whole thing is simply, he's not the only one, right? So because he's not the only one, yeah, that's where I'm like, I don't know. All I know is that Baby Oil is insane. That's crazy.
Much?
That's insane. That much is insane. And then if you looked into it, because like I said, I've done streams on it. So he had GHB like in it. It was laced with GHB. So that's like horse trank or some kind of stuff, some weird stuff like that, like strong like that. So that's a little much. And then all the all the gay stuff. Hey, bro, Diddy gonna do what he do, bro? I don't know. All I know is it's just like what people got to realize, even when it comes to that situation. If like, were they aware? Like, I'm pretty sure everybody was aware that there was cameras. I'm not talking about lower level. I'm saying upper level, like upper echelon, big artists and stuff. If they was all aware that there's cameras and stuff, why would they allow themselves to participate in that? That's the whole thing. Secondly, if they were aware that that was cameras, they all created pornography. We're going to say pornography because we on YouTube and stuff. They created pornography. So they participated willingly. And then on top of that, I don't know. Like I said, it's just crazy. But the industry, we're just, we're seeing the unveiling of a lot of stuff. We're in that time period now. And even then, we're probably not going to know everything. And the reason why is because unless they want to paint a negative picture, other people get implicated. So the best example of that would be the Epstein files. They were supposed to drop the Epstein files. I was supposed to talk about it on my stream. They never dropped it. And the reason why they never dropped it is because people will be implicated, too many important people. And like what Morpheus was saying earlier about how there are certain things that go on that don't make sense to us. Like, let's say something happened in India with this dude and it's connected to the US and then through Europe and all this stuff. It's really like that. Like, I seen a video and this is what I was trying to show y'all. Let me see if I can share my screen and hopefully make it appear. I'm going to share my screen with y'all. Y'all going to see my screen. Morpheus, you might have to mute yourself because from what it told me, it said that you might start hearing yourself. Just a heads up, because I'm going to share the audio as well.
Yeah, I can mute up.
Okay, cool. Let me see. I'm going to click the screen. Let me see if I can pull up my Instagram. Can y'all see?
Yeah, I can see. You want me to share
it? Yeah, share it. Let me know if you can hear yourself, though. Can you hear yourself? All right, y'all can see, right? Okay, you can't hear yourself? Cool. All right, so this is I use my Instagram sometimes. It's my Instagram. Y'all can mess with me on here. So I use my Instagram to help me with my show. Pay no mind to what you see. So things I want to show you guys. Let me see. My bad. It's just some of the stuff we cover in no particular order, of course. Let me see if I can pull it up though. Let me see if I'll be able to pull it up. One sec. I'll show you this as an example. So this is what I see on my algorithm. Everybody's algorithm is unique to what they're interested in, but here's an example. Hold on 1 second. Let me hide this real quick so I can put the volume. Here we go.
Black Hispanics between 14 to 21. They must.
So this is not the example I want to use, but this is just an example of things that go on that people aren't aware of. This is not the example I wanted to use, though, but I'm going to use this example.
Get stopped.
At the end of the month, these officers, whoever don't have that arrest or those few summonses, they're pressured to find something. You might not see nothing. You're supposed to be visible. You might not see anything, but you go hunting, like bounty hunting for an arrest, locking up some old guy, some homeless guy, finding somebody who's riding a bicycle on the sidewalk, who's spitting, and you bring him in.
The problem is when you go hunting, when you put any type of numbers on a police officer to perform, we are going to go to the most vulnerable.
The most vulnerable.
Of course.
Okay, so boom. Like I said, that's enough to push the message. And the message is based off of some of the things that we see, we might think one thing or another, but there are other things that are going on. So I brought that as an example. I'm going to use that as the example. It wasn't the example that I wanted, but that's an example where the police, who are the people who are put in power to protect you, they have certain quotas that they have to meet. And to meet their quota, because if they don't meet their quota, they're not going to get paid the money that they want, their base salary plus those incentives or bonuses. They got to meet that quota. So they'll turn around and specifically target certain people. And that's why I'm saying where it's like, I don't believe what they always tell me. And shout out to everybody that knows. Shout out to Yonina, because she says some of us know. You know, y'all might see me, like, if y'all ever come to my streaming stuff, and I'll probably do more streams with Morpheus because he's the first person to reach out to me. And I really appreciate you for that, brother. But you know, I might, like, y'all might see me be a certain way on my stream. I believe some of the stuff I say. I don't believe everything that I say. And, you know, it's because, like I said, I'm aware that there are people who are watching and I don't know who's who. And because of that, that's why I'm very mindful, because it's like, I don't want to come off saying too much. And then boom, you hear Black Adam is dunzo. That's why I be very mindful of, you know, all this stuff. But it's certain things like that. Shout out to Chris. Chris said the cops been ain't no cavity searching people, all kind of stuff, even plants and stuff. I have homies. I got homies that have been like tricked before, like out of position, like they done planted something on these people and they did time for it. So I'm really trying to tell y'all gotta pay attention to what's going on, bro. That wasn't the main one. I wanted to show you some more, but it's all good. I'll probably find it later because I was trying to pull up the program. I have it on my program.
That reminds me of probably maybe 3 years ago, we covered this cop in Alabama for like 30 years. He had been locking up all these people, and it came out on every single one of these people. He was planting the evidence.
Like that, bro.
He locked up, like, I mean, he locked up easily over his like 30-year period, probably like 100 people.
Now look.
On all
so look,
we were the first stream that dropped. You remember when Rockefeller covered that bit case in KC and the police department and all that? We were the first one to cover that before Rockefeller came out and got involved in that. And crazy how it ended up leading up to the sheriff, you know, took himself out of there while I was in KC back home visiting. On my way back, he had just, you know, took himself out that morning before facing trial.
Yeah, and see, it's like that out here in these streets. Now, take that same idea, take that same concept, right, and apply it to higher levels in society. This is in all levels and aspects of society. And we crack jokes and all that. Shout out to Chris Age. Chris Age said, "Black Adam, don't forget the wizard that gave you power, the power Shazam." I'll tell y'all the story why they call me Black Adam too. But yeah, shout out to Tef Adam. If you know, you know. I know. So shout out to Tef Adam. Yes, sir. Yep. But man, this nigga threw me off.
We don't have that in our stream. You gotta get careful.
Hey, so look, this is why they call me Black Adam. So back when I was a youngin', back in college, you know, I was going through, it was a bunch of Adams, right? So there was a brown Adam. Well, first off, I already ruined the story, but there was basically different Adams of different colors. So there was a brown Adam, yellow Adam, all that, you know, people racist out here in these streets. Imagine me hit the buzzer. So, you know, people racist out here in these streets are a little bit prejudiced, if you will. So, you know, I was Black Adam. And then I turned around and made that my name. So Black is an acronym. Adam's an acronym. Black, sometimes I use the acronym. Beethoven loved all colors. But the main thing is Adam. Adam is an acronym. It stands for achieve things out of mind. So when you hear it, you're supposed to see Black achieve things out of mind. So when you hear the Adam effect, you're supposed to hear the achieve things out of mind effect. So yeah, I'm Black Adam. Shout out to Teth Adam. Shout out to Shazam. Yeah, so Black Adam, that's why I say it's deeper than the music. You know, Black Adam's more than just music. It's a signal, it's a weapon. The weapon, I can't say who it's against because You know, next, they're going to turn around and say, I'm trying to incite terroristic acts, but it's a weapon, and it's not the weapon that you think. It's a weapon that you use to defend yourself, and to defend yourself from the people. I can't say who they may be, but I'm sure you can kind of put two and two together, and to achieve things out of mind. Be what you want to see in the world, become something great. It's possible if you believe in yourself. So shout out to Chris. Man, like, damn, why I said all that?
that's dope. I love that.
Appreciate that,
I'll probably throw in there. So, let's throw in a little bit, of humor in a sense. And I know we'll probably double back to some of this stuff when Teal comes in. I probably won't go super long, y'all. We'll probably go a little longer than Black Adam is used to.
Oh, no, it's all good. I said that I was just playing, fam.
But
I told him I couldn't do 3 hours. He said I did 7. I said, damn.
Yeah. We've done some marathon streams.
Yeah, hey, that's fire, though. I respect it.
I've been doing live streaming for probably 6 years or more. So over that amount of time, you're gonna do a lot of different streams. I had one day where they remember I did a 2-hour stream on somebody else's channel, hopped on, did an hour and a half interview, then hopped on, did another 4.5 hours after that.
Yeah, now that's fire.
So I put in a full day's work doing this, and that's why I stream once a week, because it's a lot that that we talk about in this couple of hours. And I wanted, this is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to have our typical show, but I wanted to kind of infuse this as I don't have interviews in a sense.
Yeah,
I have what I call a conversation.
Facts.
And so I had you on for a conversation, and it reminded me. You talked about colorism and stuff like that in the audio book that you did. Somebody I want to set you up with, because I think that you might dig. Her name is Sweta Agarawal. Sorry, I'm messing her name.
It's all good. It's all good, family. It's all good.
She's an author. She's based out of the UK, originally from India. Had some of her upbringing and raising in Japan, and she wrote a book about colorism called The Black Rose. Highly recommend the book. Is a really good book, and it goes into her life story and understanding like her bout with colorism and dealing with it in her family, because though she's not really dark, around members of her family, she was the darkest member of her family. And so she got treated differently, even within her intermediate family, because she was darker than her parents and her younger brother.
White supremacy. That's white supremacy at its finest. But people don't know. It's taught to us. So we're not aware of it. Until you're aware of it, you're not aware of it. And the reason why it's taught like that is because the dominant society has to stay dominant. And it's the only way. It's so bad. And I didn't mean to cut you off, Morpheus. I'm very passionate about it, if y'all could tell. I mean, obviously, it is what it is. It's like I said, it's certain people in my family, extensions of family. I never understood why they didn't really like me like that. I'm a chill, I'm a little bit extreme. I push the bar. I raise the level. That's on purpose. That's just the kind of person I am. That's how my parents molded me into. So I never understood why these people didn't really rock with me. And I used to I wouldn't say beat myself up for it. I used to be a little sad about it. Cause I'm like, bro, I wish we could just see eye to eye. Then now that I'm aware, it's like, I'm at that point now, and I think every man, shout out to the women too. Women go through this too. After a while, you just be like, man, fuck the bullshit. Cause and I, like I said, I don't mean to get explicit like that, but you get to a point where you just can't take trying to box yourself in to make people feel comfortable. So I can empathize with the lady. I don't know her though, but based off of what you told me, yes, it goes on, and other people in other communities, other people go through the same thing that Black people go through, because we have this idea that the lighter your skin is, the more value you have, quote unquote. Whereas you'll see somebody like me or somebody like you, we're able to articulate ourselves properly, sometimes more proper than the other people of the lighter complexion, and they'll still look at us like we're crazy. So for example, if I walk out, I got this nice shirt on. I only got this on because it was Easter. I said, okay, I'm gonna dress up a little bit. I walk out the crib, people gonna stare at me like, hey, what is he on? What type of time is he on? And that's just because the way I look. But it's just because I ain't open my mouth. If I open my mouth, I've had people tell me I've changed their whole perspective on Black people. And I'm looking at them like, that sounds like a you problem, because that was never my intention. You have that excuse me, you have that, prejudice built inside you. So, it's a whole thing. But I'm gonna read that book, The Black Rose. I gotta actually write it down. I should have brought my notebook.
I went through a scenario like that also, like even back to my high school days, where I mean, growing up in Kansas, you're gonna run into direct racism. That's a fact. And you're gonna run into what I call hardcore, hard R racism, and you're gonna run into Diet Coke racism too, where you like, what's that racist? And you're gonna kind of be wondering, and then you're gonna have sometimes where it's gonna be you know what it is. They're gonna let you know. Hey, we don't like your kind around here.
And I'll be like, damn, I don't give a fuck about your stupid ass neither. Excuse my French, because I had to let it be known. And I'm gonna tell y'all the same thing, bro. Somebody don't like you, don't become that person where you trying to fake the funk to make people happy. I'm not that person. So if you don't like me, guess what? I ain't like you neither. So let's disagree to agree. And like you said, Morpheus, when I was a youngin', people used to crack on me for being black. Like I said, I'm dark. So imagine, I used to be sitting there. They like, damn, you black. I'm looking like, in my head, I'm thinking like, we could laugh about it now. It's all good. I don't feel no ways about it. So I'm like, yeah, like I'm confused because my parents didn't taught me to hate like that. So I've never hated on nobody. So I'll be like, yeah, I am. Like, what are we talking about here? Like, I'm confused. What's the joke? And I didn't realize that people were being racist back then. Now that I know, I'll squash it. I really don't give a shit. Cause I'm sexy. I don't give a shit. I know I look good. I'm like, y'all hating because I look good. But, I'm like, like I said, I just try and remove people who are around me that are like that because I don't want no parts in that weird shit. That's weird to me. Like, hate, I've never been a hater. I've had too many things I'm trying to do in my own personal life to sit there and worry about what the next man has going on because I see myself, I find black beautiful. I don't know, like for me personally, I feel like every person who's their own shade finds their own shade the most beautiful. So I find myself beautiful. So I'm attracted to like shit that look like me. So I've never saw myself as a lower class person, not even when it comes to the socioeconomic scale. I've always seen myself as the uppity up, whatever. Not that, I'm like upper echelon. I'm saying I see myself up there and I plan on getting there. So I don't know. It's just a different kind of mindset, man. That's all I can say.
Hey, yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I love what you're saying there. And like for me, I got to see multiple different forms of racism. Like my aunt, who married my uncle before I was born, she God rest her soul, but she was the palest of pale whites you could be around. And her family disowned her when she married my uncle. And so she was with him when like not, I won't say segregation. Well, yes and no, because segregation had been desegregated. But for people who don't realize, they just think, oh, well, it ended at that time. When I was in high school, do you know I was still going through what was called racial balance transfer, which was one of the things they implemented to kind of deal with the effects of segregation. So that ended in 97 when I was still in high school. So we were still dealing with like desegregation at that point. So when they got married, he went to an all-black school and she got completely disowned from her family. And that white woman was literally at every function I had, would put a hole in somebody who's messing with her black nieces and nephews. So when I saw that kind of treatment towards her, and I saw, even though she was getting that kind of treatment, she never like swayed on defending her, not blood family,
her people.
But we were her people. And so that made me look at people more as individuals, even though I knew it was racist ass white people out there. It allowed me to look individually, just like how where I grew up, I didn't run into a lot of strife between black and brown. But in Cali, it's a whole different ball game.
Facts.
And also with a lot of the newer generation of Hispanics who've been coming to the country, some of them come with a little different energy.
Yeah, it's a little.
And so for me, I didn't grow up with that. I know not to let this incident from this one person here bear on the whole masses of that community. That's the reason why in this community, yes, I do rep hard for, the black community, but I also do give a lot of love and respect for Black and brown as a whole, because I realize we're all being grinded down by the same power structure.
Facts.
And when you look statistically across the board, we all run into the same thing. That's the reason why I don't entertain any of that FBA versus tether nonsense.
Yeah, that shit weird. Boy, I'll be sitting there like, so who am I? Because like I said, I was raised in I'm technically a first generation American. So like I be sitting there like in my house, we spoke English. Like shout out to my grandmother, may she sleep in peace. But like I'll be thinking to myself, who am I? Because I'm not part of slavery, but technically if we go back to the true technicality,
all part of slavery.
Yes, and then even then I'm like, bro,
the same thing. Here's what I hit a lot of different FBA people with when I have a conversation, like a real intellectual conversation, not somebody who just
emotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
If you think about it, the Haitian Revolution, understanding history, the Haitian Revolution led to a lot of the strifes and disruption of slavery within America. And then you take a city like Chicago, where Chicago was founded by a Haitian. A lot of people don't factor that stuff in, and so
they don't know.
When you start factoring in a lot of the leaders in the Black community, a lot of the legends in the Black community, plenty of them were not, Black Americans, as people say. And you have a lot of people who fought in the strife, because the moment you hit these shores, you get grouped in. So you might not have went through slavery within this country,
but I know for sure.
Racism. Yeah. You still run it. The moment you get in, you get thrown into the team. It's kind of like if you went to prison. You can be a Dominican and you only grew up around Hispanics. You only spoke Spanish. But the moment you get in there, if you're a darker Dominican, now you with the Blacks.
You with the Blacks. And look, so shout out. Hey, first off, shout out to Young Morpheus for preaching, man. I would hit them applause. Imagine everybody. Look, I'm telling you, I gotta hear my sounds, bro. Y'all just go watch one of them old videos, listen to the sounds. But yeah, applause to Morpheus because he's preaching. Remember, guys, take what I say, not with a grain of salt, but I'm very, I always tell my brother this. Shout out to my brother, Rich the engineer. I'm very animated. I'm never agitated. I'm very animated. So it's like Morpheus says, I love all people. Like y'all should have seen I have an ex that's Puerto Rican. My other ex was Mexican. The shout out to Black Madam. She's African right now. So I'd have been with all colors. I'd have been with white women. Well, first off, let's just remove the women. I'd have been around different types of people. Okay. So there are white people that I would cut for. Like they're like my family, like put me in a position of power, always thankful. They know who they are. Like I said, my granddad is blonde hair, blue eyes, white as snow, lives in Tennessee. White man, owns a farm and everything. If I call him right now, great, best conversation. You'll be like, yo, this dude sees me as his grandson. So not all people are like that. So take what I say also with a grain of salt. I'm just very animated. I'm trying to reinforce my point, but not everybody's like that. But one thing I will stand on is that hate is a taught thing, and it's taught in the household, whether it's from somebody else, a family, a friend, it's taught. And then after that, it manifests and becomes a cancer. And that's the whole thing there. So shout out to Chris. Chris said, I think the American slave owners purchased Black people from the Caribbean. Yes. So that's the whole thing with my legacy. And even then, I don't know too much about my personal upbringings. I've tried to have them conversations with my dad. Actually, me and my dad right now, we're not on good terms per se, because my parents actually wanted me to be a lawyer. I went to school for it. They wanted me to go to law school. I didn't actually want to do those things. And I had to realize too, free game, ladies and gentlemen, I had to realize sometimes you can't always try and make people happy, because you only got one life. You got to make yourself happy. So I already know I'm going to affect the world on that level with whatever I'm doing. My dad wanted me to do that. So we don't necessarily speak, but maybe in the future we'll start talking again and we can have them conversations. But I don't know too much about my history, but I know my history is kind of all, in different spots for sure. And that's the whole thing with Black people. All people, right? There's nothing wrong with us being different. Well, we have to understand there's only one actual race. There's the human race. We're just taught that there's multiple races. There is no Latino race and white race. No, it's the human race. Because if we're all human, we're all human. And let's say we were different. Why is that a problem? It should be, I look at it as a beauty in the sense that we're unique. Like, we don't have to be the same. I wouldn't want to be like everybody else or everybody be a carbon copy of me, because then what's the point? What's the point? That's all I can say. What's the point? And that's why, like I said, the way I live, I stand true in my own power. I stand true as who I am. And I mean, I wasn't always like this. You know, I'm this now. Like, this was a coming of age thing. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So I wasn't always able to move like this. Now I'm able to. Like I was for a little bit when I was in school. Then once you get traumatized. You get older, you get traumatized by the way society. You're not really aware until you just wake up one day. We'll say 25 because they say that's how long it takes for your brain to develop or whatever the case may have you. But until you actually wake up, you're not aware of what's going on. Then when you wake up, it kind of traumatizes you in a sense. And I discussed this earlier, and it's because you don't know how to react to it. Once you can get past the trauma, and it takes time. It took me a couple years. Like, I was in a dark place mentally. Not like I was going to do no crazy stuff. I'm saying, like, I was just in a dark place mentally, probably like a couple years ago. Trying to figure out, okay, like, who am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be thugging? Am I supposed to be gang banging and all this stuff? And then I had to wake up and be like, I don't have to do those things. Like, those things don't make you a man. Like, not handling your responsibilities doesn't make you a man. Trying to be in the streets and do all this crazy stuff, it doesn't make you a man. And, I got older. So now that I'm older, I can present to you guys like this, because this is actually who I am. I'm a person that's articulate. I consider myself intellectual. I love talking to people. I love people in general. Mm-hmm. But like I said, it took time. So always remember, there's different types of people. But when it comes to the hate and stuff, the hate is taught. I say squash the hate. But if you see people who are hateful, my advice is steer clear of those people, because they are the way they are, because it's something in themselves. It's not something with you. You feel me?
It's something I saw K83 put here, and it's like, you're going to make me start going into my Hebrew Israelite bag. So I'm going to hold off on that. Said,
what do you put in there?
Says, looking at it spiritually doesn't come real people of Israel are regarding racism, because the earth is Satan's domain.
Facts.
It says, I think Truth Unedited talks about this. He did. And I'm gonna give y'all a paraphrase of scripture for you real quick. It says, when the wicked are in rule, the earth mourns. But when the righteous are in rule, the earth rejoices, basically. So right now we have wicked rulership. And so as they put out their wicked rulership, the pain is going to be felt throughout all these different, crevices. And it's kind of like water being dropped into a dry surface. It's going to flow through all the cracks and hit every different area. And so the people at the top who are pouring the water, they don't even know where the water went. Only the people who are within those cracks. And it's us within the cracks as we go down the bottom of this pyramid, where we feel all the ebbs and flows. It's kind of just like with earthquakes. An earthquake is that shifting that's going on. And there's certain kind of lubricants that are not in there or lost or whatever has to do with the earth's crust and things like that makes all these things moves. And all of these different effects on it are what produce this earthquake eventually. We don't look at all the different things that are going on, but as we have population move in, water, this and that, a hurricane over there, earthquakes, a bunch of trucks moving in, and all of these different things that are going on contribute to mixing this Sunday up,
Yeah, for sure.
And it's the same thing that goes on in this earth. As we have corruption, as we have greed, all of these things produce different symptoms. And when you put people in dire straits, people do certain things, and there's cause and effect that happen to it. This person need to get his bag. He do this, that hurts this person, takes away from that family, and it trickles on and on. It's a ripple effect, just like the butterfly effect that people talk about. And so the only thing is it goes worldwide, and we just got to allow, I remember some rapper, he said something about, the one with the gun or the one on the other side of the gun, which one is the victim? Well, if you really pull yourself 10,000 feet up and look at it, they're both the victim, because they're being put into a predicament from a society. It's just a matter of them being able to pull themselves back from that moment and look at it and redirect and think, and not allow yourself to keep being played like a marionette. That's what we have to do. And that how you navigate this thing. Because I tell people all the time, I watch a lot of people, especially in our political circles, exactly, political climate, who they're reactionary. They're reacting to the stuff. They're not getting ahead of it and really looking at it. I did a video once where I literally start naming names of who owns these corporations, who is donating to this person, who's donating this. I went through the whole 435 members of Congress and show all of the people that they were getting donated to, and their voting records, to be able to show exactly what was going on with the corruption and how they're being corrupted. And when you start looking at it to that level, and you start, because you got to get out of your head on, well, there'll be certain things that you're going to start to see that's going to lead you to conclusions. And you're going to say, no, I can't go there because people told you don't go there. But you got to break through that wall. I mean, I don't know how many, I got to throw in a movie reference. I don't know how many of y'all seen The 13th Floor. But
I remember, I think it's old, yeah. It's old, ain't it?
It literally came out the same year as The Matrix.
Yeah, like 1999, 2000.
1999. And it's in the same, it's basically the same movie in a sense. It's just done completely different. When he gets to the 13th floor, I'll let y'all watch the movie.
Yeah.
But when he gets to the 13th floor, he sees something and he gets it. And that's the same thing with Neo and and Morpheus. And that's the reason why I named my show, the Political Matrix, because it's understanding. Once you can understand the Matrix and you can see the whole Matrix, then you can learn how to fight the Matrix. But if you can't see it, you can't see what's going on and you're reacting, you're no different than one of the people who are being controlled by an agent, because you can always be manipulated by the information if you don't understand what the Matrix is.
Deep. I was going to say, Morpheus. So questions, couple questions. First off, let me scroll down so we can see the comments. Shout out to everybody in here too. So, first thing, would you ever see yourself playing a political game, like potentially partaking in Congress or whatever the case may have you? And if so, if no, why not?
Because with what I know and what I would do, I would probably meet an untimely demise.
Okay, fair enough. And then my second thing is, so Morpheus, do you understand the Matrix? Like, do you understand did you ever hear about what the Matrix was supposed to represent and everything? Have you ever heard of that conversation?
Yeah, I've thoroughly read through Sophia Stewart's.
Okay, and that's her name. It's crazy because I was talking about you on my stream. I was like, bro, Morpheus ain't hit me up, so I don't know if we're gonna do this. So I was waiting on you to text me. So I was discussing how I didn't know the lady's name, but I guess her name is Sarah. You said Sarah, right?
Sophia.
So she was discussing how the Matrix is the hero's journey, Jesus' journey, and I was discussing how the Terminator is a prequel to the journey of the Matrix. Yeah. So I was going to ask you, so do you think we live in a Matrix?
Not in the sense of like the movie, but metaphorically, yes.
Okay. Fair enough.
Metaphorically, the reason why I would say metaphorically, yes, because even though the second and third were very clumsy and fourth was just like ridiculous, they still had little elements that it forced them in the direction, even though they start going off they start going away from the source material from what Sophia had laid out, which they stole, which anybody, y'all can really go and look the lawsuits that she actually won.
Yeah, they took her idea.
But if you look through it, I mean, literally there's parts in the movie where they call Neo his own personal Jesus Christ. I mean, you're my own Trinity, that's supposed to represent,
the Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity, the triune God, which I don't believe in. I'm not a Trinitarian, but I understand the symbolism. If you go into Morpheus, who Morpheus is the god of the dream world.
Deep shit. I ain't know that. Yeah, that will wake you up.
If you go into the ship is the Nebuchadnezzar. Do y'all know what the Nebuchadnezzar, what that symbolizes?
I'm guessing Noah's Ark. No.
Nebuchadnezzar comes from the Bible. Nebuchadnezzar was a king of Persia. And what happened with him, he kept having a dream over and over. And the dream goes into Daniel when it starts talking about the stone made of the 4 different metals, made of gold, silver, what is it? Gold, silver, bronze, and iron. And then it has the 10 toes, which are the feet of miry clay. Now that goes into all kind of other biblical prophecy, which Daniel connects to Revelations of the beast with the 10 horns, and we're not going to that right now. But anyway, back to Nebuchadnezzar having that dream over and over and over, and trying to understand what his dreams mean. That was a reference. The reason why they use that reference is because the people living in the Matrix are living in a dream world. And so that's where they were going with that. If you go into, there's even certain parts where it goes a little off, but they start using even Mormon scriptures in there for certain numbers on the door. Like I did years ago, I did a breakdown on it. It was
fire. It sounds fire.
I'm going to redo it. Yeah, because like I did it live and I had a bad stream, so it cut in and out. So I unlisted the video right now, so I can go back and redo it. But like I literally went through minute by minute of the whole movie and went through breaking down different things. I mean, other things that you can even go into, the way that they used Trinity and they made her a female. And he's supposed to be Christ, but they never completely got together, even though she was kind of in love. And the first one, of course, second one, they go off in a different direction. Yeah. But that's supposed to reference like Mary Magdalene. Who was with them the whole time. And so Morpheus also was doubling almost like John the Baptist. And so there's a whole lot that's going on that people are not completely connecting. But you know, I'll leave it at that. Another one I forgot. Cypher represents Judas.
You scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah. You scared the bejesus out of me. When he talks about he wants to live back in even though he knows that stake isn't real, he would rather be inserted back into the Matrix, and he backstabbed the whole crew. That was him. The agents basically represents, the main one, Mr. Smith, basically represents like Pontius Pilate, who's supposed to kill Christ, and the other agents. And so this goes into like, this is a woman who is very deep in faith. And also, if you think of even just what John Anderson, his name Anderson means son of man. So there's so much
that's layered,
that I mean, if you like that movie, when I walked out of the movie theater, when I saw that, I was shook. Are we really even in the real world? I was, and for probably a good year,
you were stuck.
I saw that movie probably like 6 times.
I seen all of them. Look, and Terminator, those Terminator, the Book of Eli, they just make you think. So you just gotta be sitting there like,
Well, think about it. John Anderson is John Connor.
Exact. So that's why I'm like, bro. So I'm going through, but like you said, they always mess up the story. That's what always will ruin it. So with Terminator, it got a little weird when they start going into like the Genesis. I think it's called Genesis, Terminator Genesis. So it got a little weird because they start throwing you into this loop where, what's his name? John, was it John? Yeah, it was John. John got caught up with the Terminator and became a Terminator. And they're like, we're what did he call it? We're I'm gonna say slaves. It's not slave, but we're slaves stuck in time. That's what he said. He said something like that. Or we're like passengers through time or something like that. And like they keep repeating the same loop. And that's where it's the mind fuck, because it's like, damn, is that what life is? It's like we're repeating the same loop. History's repeating itself. So you look back through history, the same things keep happening in different ways. It keeps happening, whether it's more intricate, and then society builds and then it falls and then it rebuilds based off of what they told us. So that's where it's like the whole, it's just so deep.
Going back to the question that you asked me, also about like, do I believe we live in the form of the Matrix? According to my faith beliefs and all that, and I could even show biblically a biblical argument for what I'm saying. That like, think about how many times in the Old Testament where they're talking about people and they're asking them, hey, are you such and such? And they're asking them if they're a previous prophet, who came in the regeneration. I mean, even Christ even talks about coming back as a greater Solomon.
Mhm.
And if you know about Solomon, he was supposed to be punished basically the way Christ was punished, but he didn't. And so, oddly enough, for all the things which he did wrong, later on, one of his ancestors gets punished exactly the way he was supposed to. But if you understand, like through my belief system, you get punished. It says the punishment comes under the earth, under the heavens and earth. So you go up it's kind of like at the end of the year in school, and you're doing grades and all that. You have a progress report and you have your final grade, and then you're given your grade or your judgment, and then you start back over. And so when you go up before the heavens, you're being judged at that point. Then you come back into this earth to relive through and deal with the consequences of that previous life. So therefore, like there's a part when they asked about the blind man. They're like, what sin did he commit? Or was it his parents who sinned for him to be born blind? And you think, wait a minute, how could he have sinned and be born blind? Well, obviously that means that in a previous life
he was reincarnated. Yep.
Now the judgment on him being born blind is because of that previous sin. And so that's going through another iteration, just like in the Matrix, it was talking about how he was the sixth
Neo. Yep.
The sixth savior or Messiah. Well, if it's even in the Bible, without going into regeneration, if you look at it, it looks at different people at different time periods being messiahs for the children of Israel. And then, of course, Christ is supposed to be the final or great overall Messiah. And so when you start really looking at it and get past just the churchiosity where they just read two scriptures and pass the plate around 4 or 5 times and sing a couple of songs, when you get that part of it and the prosperity gospel, just pray for that good job and you just pray that God gonna give you that raise you've been looking for. You get past all that and you really get into the theology of it and understand the people of the time and their belief systems and how they really view the world. It tracks with a lot of things which people who have come up with more of a spiritual way of seeing the world and not connected necessarily to the scripture directly, but it connects spiritually in the same understanding, just in a different lens. And they don't realize it's the same lens as those belief systems of those people in the Bible, but because the teachings of these pastors have gotten so perverted and so off of what it's supposed to be,
it's man-made.
Did you into that church is the Bible is something completely different than it really is?
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna blame. I mean, I came up. I was raised Catholic. I was saying Catholicism.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, so it's crazy. It's all good. It's like, as I got older, my dad told me and my brother, he was like, you can I want you guys to figure out what you believe in. And I'm spiritual. I believe in God. I read the Bible from time to time, but I don't be going to church like that. Sorry guys, if that's demonic, don't be mad at me. But I don't be going to church like that because everybody done tweaked out. Yeah, everybody tweaked
out. I went to all of the different ones. I went to Catholicism.
Yeah.
My uncle was an AME Zion pastor. And on Saturday nights, that's why we watch movies, but he'd be working on his sermon. So I had multiple pastors that I was able to sit there and ask direct questions from being like 14, 15, 16, direct questions. Where a lot of people don't get to ask the pastor these kind of questions. And that turned me agnostic for many years.
I don't blame you. My homies, their dad's a pastor and stuff. Cause you see what the church does, and that's what throws you off. You got to just remember, like, the Bible's not the church, or whatever you pray to is not the church. Once you understand that, it kind of find your way back. Yeah.
But through those different iterations, like my belief system, like I could lay it out another way, but anyway, I believe that we come back every like 4th generation. And so when you look back to your ancestors, what was going on 200 years ago? Their ancestors didn't experience that only. You are your ancestors. So you experienced that and before and before and before. That's the reason why when you go to some random place like Spain or you're in Liberia or something like that, and you're like, man, I've never been here before, but this feels so familiar.
Yeah.
When you go to these places and you've never been there before, but you feel that connection, it's because your spirit remembers it. Now, when we get to the end of life cycle, our mind gets wiped on all that. That's the reason why when you come back as a baby, you got to relearn it all. And that's the reason why you'll see babies instinctually will do certain things. It's like that baby been here before.
Yeah, facts.
Been here before. The same spirits. There's a certain amount of spirits which God has created. We're just coming back within a different vessel. Now, do I believe that Black Adam is going 200 years ago that he was a Indian man out of India? No, I don't. I come back in the sense of the same people and within the same, family.
Yeah.
But and we might even bear some resemblance. Maybe be a little bit lighter this time, a little bit darker this time, maybe a little taller, a little shorter. But I still think we come back throughout these same things. That's the reason why when I was in Greece and in Spain, I was like, I've been here before.
Facts.
Before I've been there, I was like, I know for a fact this feels way too comfortable for me. And when I started, and part of me started thinking, nah, there's no possible way that you could even have that connection. Then when I started really understanding in the history, and I started looking into ancient Europe, and I started looking into the Minoans. Have you heard of the Minoans?
I heard the name before, but I don't know them. I'm not too fondly of them. I'm not too fond of them.
The modern day Greeks basically are Macedonians who have invaded the area. Now, before the Macedonians, you had the Mycenaeans. Before the Mycenaeans, you had the Minoans. These were different people groups which got forced out for the most part of that area. And so also you had a lot of migration of people who came from different parts of Africa who were all traveling all through different parts of Europe. And so these areas were not homogenous zones as much as we think. Rome was not just this area with mostly white people. Most of Europe wasn't. It was homogenous, no different than you'd have in America or in Great Britain or any of these places where you got all of these different people from all of these different places. Because if you go back to the old world, Asia, Europe, and Africa all sat right there. And sea travel has been something that people have had forever. So people have always circumnavigated and went back and forth from these places. There's only one place where it was isolated away, where most Europeans did not know about it. But there's plenty of history that shows that people from Africa went to the Americas and back and forth, and trade went back and forth.
Yes. And then that's for example, when I said like the dominant society being in place, that's the true history that a lot of people don't know. So like, shout out to the FBAs. We're going to talk about them. But, when they speak, they speak from a perspective of they were here before. If you go into the history and Morpheus to study history, you can tell based off of the things he says. There were black people here in America before this whole idea of, they sold slaves on the ship and then they went everywhere. No, there was people here. There were indigenous people that were here already. And, I'm not necessarily talking about like there's different names like the Amerindians, like there's people like that. There was like the native people, and then there was like the black people that were there that were like not necessarily Indians. Some were Indians, but they weren't necessarily Indians. They were just black people that were here. And then even then, when the African slave trade happened, that was a whole other thing. But there was people everywhere. It's never been one set of people here. People have always, if we follow the history, and that's why it kind of doesn't line up and add up correctly. Hunters and gatherers, if people were hunters and gatherers, they were going to different places hunting and gathering. They didn't stay in one place. We were all kind of, like I said, nomads navigating. And also shout out to Morpheus for talking about the whole thing about reincarnation. So yeah, me personally, I don't know. People say I'm kind of like an old soul because of the way I am. I'm very vibrant though. But yeah, they say I'm an old soul because of the way I be acting and stuff. But also, I kind of I don't know how to put it. Like I when I was in college, I studied philosophy. One thing I studied
a lot of philosophy too.
Yeah. So one thing I learned about was the study of epistemology, which was what is real and how do we know it. So we discussed the mind-body problem. So if you discuss the mind-body problem, long story short, it's like, can the mind exist without a body? If so, what is that? Okay, boom. So if your mind can exist without the body, what would you call that? That would be your soul.
Yep.
Essentially, energy travels, and because energy travels, where does energy go? Supposedly, energy travels up or down, and that's the whole explanation of heaven or hell. And what happens when your soul leaves your body? Either it goes to heaven or hell, or back into another body. So, I mean, excuse me, it's the coffee. It's a whole thing. But
here, now that you mentioned heaven or hell, the concept of heaven and hell that a lot of people have comes from Dante's Inferno. That came all the way back, from Greek mythology. Now, if you actually look up what hell is in the Bible, it's translated in the Hebrew as Sheol. Sheol actually is described as a horrible state of being, or the grave.
Now look, and then that's where it gets deep, because I used to wonder what they were saying when it says show. I was like, what is Sheol? When I was reading the Bible, I know what it is. But look,
or a horrible state. So you heard people be like, "Oh my God, this day is like hell." It means you suffer, and even when it's
right now,
even when it describes heaven, heaven is described in multiple different ways. And heaven, one, is a place where it's a fourth dimensional, fifth dimensional, whatever dimension you want to say, where a spiritual realm, where spiritual entities or a greater power lives. And then there's also heaven as far as a state of being, of like, man, I walked in this place, it's beautiful. This is like heaven. It's a state of being of a greatness. And then there's the other state of heaven where it's literally just the clouds.
I'm trying to find, I think it was Chris said something about Satan. I'm trying to find it.
Well, Satan literally just means the adversary.
What was I trying to, well, basically what I wanted to pull up was where he said something about Satan owning earth. And I was going to say, sometimes the way I feel, and I've said this on my stream, and not to be weird, but I would say like, man, I feel like it's hell on earth. And that's why we see the things that we see. And afterwards, when we die, we get judged on whether or not we go to heaven or we go back to earth. And not to be weird, but we're all the demons. Like, we're the ones trying to do right, because in the Bible, it says we all fall short of the glory of God. And I'm saying the Bible because that's what I was taught. But whatever you believe in, it all points back to basically, based off of the things we see on earth, hell would have to be here on earth. And then we will go get judged on whether or not it's time for us to go to heaven based off of the things we do during our lifetime, because everybody's going to sin. So, I mean, it's the whole thing. What I was going to say is, damn, we've been in here. We've been in here for a minute. We ain't even talk about the topics. We got to,
I figured that's a good transition to talk about the topic, because you brought about stuff which is real or not real. And so that brings me to one of the topics that we have about Gail King. I wanted to share this. I don't know. Did you see about the Blue Origin flight?
Yes, I did. I did. So, and, I don't know what to believe. Some people believe in a firmament, bro. Some people believe in a firmament.
I'll go into that, but I just want to share this first with the audience. Let y'all get a flavor of what Gail said. And let's just rehash this in her own words.
Yeah.
Consider friends.
Yeah, since returning safe and sound, Gail King has been taking on critics, including celebrities, of Blue Origin's 6-woman crew that rocketed to outside Earth's atmosphere on Monday.
1, 2, 3, take up space! What?
And Morpheus, it's a little bit edgy. You want me to play it on my stream?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, that way.
That's even
your bandwidth. Let me see. Gail King reacts to celeb friends criticizing flight. Can you share it in the chat? I'll play it on my side.
That's what I'll do. I'll put it in the private chat real quick.
There you go.
But it's kind of funny that they literally said taking up space, because that's really all y'all did is take up space.
Bro, the way I feel, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I think it's a setup. I got something I can show y'all too about that. And I'll probably show it to you guys after we play the video.
All right. It's in the private.
All right, I'm about to hold on. Let me copy it, and then let me.
But it's funny. I'm gonna put a pin in that because I want to come back to that. You're talking about the firmament and stuff.
Yeah, the firmament. I don't know, because that's what people be saying. I don't know what to believe. Let me pull it up.
Well, for the people that don't know, we'll hash into it. In fact, I guess I could talk about it a little bit while he grabs the video. But what he's talking about the firmament is in the Bible. It talks about basically like a unseeable dome that is over the earth that we cannot leave and get out of that. Now, can we get to a certain level of so-called outer space? Yes. But how far can we get is the real question. All right, there we go.
Y'all pay no mind to my YouTube. I do we do the streaming stuff.
Mine is all kinds of crazy stuff. So
yeah, you already know we gotta make sure we're putting out the right stuff because you know what it is. Let me pull it up. All right, so we're here. Here we go.
I've certainly read some of the things online coming from people that I know, that I like, that I consider friends.
Yeah, since returning safe and sound, Gail King has been taking on critics, including celebrities, of Blue Origin's 6-woman crew that rocketed to outside Earth's atmosphere on Monday.
1, 2, 3, taking up space! What are they doing? Like, why?
We've had some cranky Yankees and haters. I've heard you. I'm not going to let you steal our joy.
And think about how many resources went into putting these women into space. For what? For what was the marketing there? And then to try to make it like, I'm disgusted. Literally, I'm disgusted.
But like, there are so many other things that are so important in the world right now. Like,
the rest of the population, most people on planet Earth are worried about paying rent or, having dinner for their kids.
it's so much money to go to space.
Yeah. Yes.
And there's a lot of people who can't even afford eggs.
I was one of those people, actually. Well, I spent a lot of money on that. And then you get involved and you start listening and you start learning and you start seeing what goes into doing this and what comes out of it. I think you'll feel differently about it.
You care about Mother Earth and it's about Mother Earth, and you're going up in a spaceship that is built and paid for by a company that's single-handedly destroying the planet.
What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. I mean, Jeff Bezos has so many ideas, and the people that are working there are really devoted and dedicated to making our planet a better place.
Space exploration.
Real quick, Morpheus, can I say something?
Definitely. Yeah, go on.
Hey, so shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm just responding to people. In the chat.
No. Hop in and comment because you've been getting some good stuff there.
Yeah, so it's a couple things, guys. So look, I'm just like, first off, shout out to Chris. Chris said, I can't understand why Gail King and these women were ridiculed for going to space because Elon Musk shoots rockets into space to just blow up, funded with taxpayer money. No one ridicules Elon Musk. Facts. So the thing that I was taught and we was taught was that you had to go to NASA and train for years to learn how to go into space. Now I understand we've advanced as a people. But it's like, I thought you had to train to go into space. I thought nobody could just go up into space like that. Secondly, if you look at the video, there were no spacesuits. There was no spacesuits. There was nothing of that nature. Another thing on top of that, shout out to Marietta. She said, right, you literally had to be a rocket scientist. And like I said in the chat, they say Elon Musk, you said Elon Musk blows up the rockets, and that's facts. But I'm like, bro, so those rockets that blew up, didn't blow up on purpose. And that's the whole thing where I'm like, bro, so how is Elon Musk a billionaire? For those of you who don't know, I used to work for Tesla. I told you guys, I've had a lot of jobs. I used to work for Tesla. Out here, I used to work for Elon Musk. I've seen the billionaire money. So it doesn't make sense that Elon Musk is blowing up these rockets trying to get into space when he was trying to bring them people down, but Jeff Bezos didn't blow anything up. And that's where I'm like, okay, so is this real or is this, perpetuated? And I don't know why they would want people to understand or believe that there's a space, but it's just a bunch of things that just begs the question. And it just happened out the blue. On top of that, I discussed this in my stream. They plan on sending up more artists there. So I'm like, okay, what's the play? Are they sending people up for the money because artists are going to pay to be in space? But it's just like, bro, what's going on? So I don't know, Morpheus, if you had anything to say about that.
Yeah, I got some things. I think some people get a little distracted with the whole Elon blowing up stuff versus Jeff Bezos blowing up stuff. I mean, both of them are spending a whole lot of money. And basically what this is space tourism in a sense. I think the reason why Gail King is getting ridiculed more than anything is if you just said, hey, we went up to space and, it was a cool experience. Cool. That's one thing. But when you start trying to make it like you're somebody that for people to aspire to because you went to space. No, you went to space because you're a rich, famous person. Nothing else. You didn't go because you have some kind of training. And it's not like you went up there to do anything scientific. You caught a ride. If me or Black Adam were cool with Elon or with Jeff Bezos, we could have got sent up there. You didn't do anything for anybody to aspire to. And then when you try to call yourself an astronaut, astronauts are actually training to do something. Even if people believe NASA is complete BS, you still had to do a level of training to be able to do this BS. They're not just putting any random ass person because you've been sitting on TV for some years and because you can sing a couple of songs. That doesn't qualify you for going out of space. So trying to compare yourself to like Neil Armstrong and Sam Shepard and people like that, that's ridiculous. These people had military careers some of them becoming like, flying top secret planes to like crazy speeds and dealing with all kind of different forms of science and all that. And they're actually maybe testing, the exertion on the body and all of these other different things, whatever they're testing. But for you to go up there for 11 minutes and compare yourself to them is why you're getting ridiculed and why the other people are getting ridiculed. Also, the fact y'all literally, I heard somebody say it looked like basically a bachelorette party. That's what it looked like. I mean, y'all get up there and y'all just, okay, if you want to get up there and have fun and, oh, it was cool. Yeah, but quit making yourself more important than what that really was.
All right, so Morpheus, I had something I want to share from my Instagram because I discussed this as well on my stream. So I'm gonna share. We're gonna share that with you guys so you guys can see it. So I have hold on, let me pull it up. I have my Instagram set up. I'm gonna go to my messages. I send these things to myself.
Sure, I do the same thing.
Yeah. In case I need to discuss it, and then I need Morpheus. I need you to share that so everybody can see it.
Boom.
And we're gonna scroll up. Like I said, I discussed this like maybe a week ago when it happened because it was a big deal. I mean, it's space. Like, for example, weird stuff. Astronomers say they found the strongest indication of life beyond our solar system on a planet 124 light years from Earth. I'm just like, how, bro? How?
Yeah, how? Well,
wouldn't that be us in the future?
I did a video. I did a conversation a couple of years back with a man called Bart Ehrman. Not Bart Ehrman. I'm sorry, Bart Sibrel. Bart Ehrman is somebody completely different. He's a theological person. But anyway, Bart Sibrel, who did the show, he did the video Moon Man. I don't know if you've seen the dude who got punched by like Neil Armstrong, who was going up to all the astronauts.
I seen him, the interviewer, the reporter.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Oh, shit. That's a big one.
And
yeah, that's a big one.
Bart's he's a cool, interesting guy. And he was like basically like, y'all did not go to the moon. I do not believe it. Here are my reasons why I don't believe it. And I threw one in there to add to it because, I'm not going to try to put myself on the level with a Bart Sibrel as far as understanding this. Yeah. But anyway, he talked to a guy who on his deathbed told a story about his father on his deathbed saying that he was one of the guards at the base. Oddly enough, in Texas, I believe, who was there where they filmed it with Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
And on the base where they filmed it. And they made a mock movie like Moon Men or something like that just recently came out that was supposed to mock that whole story. And one of the things I brought up is every time they would always show the Earth and on all of these depictions, because NASA even tells you that it's CGI created. The images that they produce. Like if you look at the bottom of it, it says CGI created or whatever AI created.
No, it's not even real.
Yeah, so the image that you're seeing when they show the Earth, none of the
it's a depiction of it. Yeah.
It's a depiction of it. Now from the space station, it can show you kind of looking up, but that's only sitting at a certain level.
Yeah, for sure.
But these ones where they talk about that are from the moon and all that, and that is that all it. I mean. And for those who don't believe me, look at it and see. I brought up one thing that I found interesting. How much do you know about maps?
Maps?
Maps.
Maps, like Google Maps?
Well, yeah.
Like
there's
Google Earth?
like when you're in school, there's a certain map that is used primarily in most of our education, most of our schools.
Oh,
It's,
I don't know. I know what you're saying, but I don't know what it's called. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. How the map is not, it's not depicted properly. Like for example, Africa is bigger than everything else. Yeah. I've seen it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa.
That's where I'm going to. So
Yeah.
the actual depiction would be the Gail Peters map, which shows in their proportions a lot better.
Yeah.
The Mercator map, but if you see any of these depictions that they show, they always use the Mercator map. So it should let you know already that the image that you're seeing is wrong.
It's not real. Yes.
It should be closer to the Gail Peters. And because Africa is literally so big that it can fit like most of Europe in it. It can fit like all the Americas in it. I mean, it's huge. And then you have like Greenland that's like this big on a real map, which the reason why they made the maps like that is to make all the European countries
up here big. Yep.
Exactly.
Welcome to the real world, people.
Yeah. And they've talked about it on different shows where, like, you watch some of these shows, they leak the truth out.
Yeah.
Here and there. And so that's
how Marietta. Marietta said, "I'm not afraid of evil. Evil is afraid of me." Hey man, look, man. God. Well, I don't know. Hey, Morpheus, my bad, bro. If you don't like this, but I got tattoos on me, bro. Because you was talking about your body's a temple, and I'm like, damn, I already desecrated myself, bro.
But if you already, like, under my faith, also, we all have done different things, and before you come to the truth of these things, okay, well, in the Bible it says He winks at your ignorance. Yeah. So things you didn't know about that you was doing, He like, all right, I'm gonna give you a pass on that, but hey, knock it off. Don't keep on doing that stuff.
So yeah, I got a couple tattoos. So I got Fear Is Not Real tatted on me. That's all I was gonna say. So yeah, I got Fear Is Not Real tatted on my rib, Marietta. So I'm not really, I don't know. I don't really fear anything but God, and that's about it. Honestly,
that's good. It's weird enough. Like when I was younger, I had all these tattoos that I drew out myself that I wanted to get, but whenever I had the opportunity to get them, either like I didn't have the money to do it at the time what I wanted to do, or I didn't have the time to do it, and it would always be one or the other, and then I just ended up never getting any.
No, I feel you. Me, I grew up in the hood, just like on Morpheus. I grew up in the hood. I'm talking about when I got my first tattoo, it was $20. So yeah, that's how I was able to do it. I only needed $20 and just to sign a thing, be legal age. Signed away. My first tattoo.
My basketball team had to wear like these patches, like
cover
bandages to cover their tattoos on the basketball team, because
I already know.
You couldn't be in high school wearing tattoos like on any of the sports teams.
Oh yeah, no, my first tattoo, well, like I said, all my tattoos you can't see them because I was hiding them from my people. I didn't want to get in trouble, so all my tattoos you can't see them. I don't have that many. I only have 5. And
this is how ghetto we were at my school was. Do you know in our yearbook there's a section where it was showing everybody's tattoos?
For real? Oh yeah, y'all was ghetto. Boy, I almost hit that. I hit that buzzer. You can't hear it, but I hit the buzzer. Damn, I hit the buzzer. That's crazy. That's crazy.
It's in the yearbook.
That's wild. Hey, so look, guys. So what we were saying about space and stuff. For example, this is what I'm gonna show you guys, and we were discussing this earlier. And in this video right here, this is where they're talking about in these videos they use harnesses to hold these people. Listen to this.
Right here, and the guy next to him just reaches up and grabs a harness that's right on his hip.
I gotta pause it real quick. I'm gonna pause it because the funniest part to me, well, there's several funny parts by the way, but the lady in the background with the hair, it's like, did someone not think that like we've got to make her hair look like that, right? It's got to be standing up, dude. It's as hard as a rock. It's not moving. It's like we must be in space. Look at her hair. Like obviously, there's this thing called hairspray.
Yeah, I see what I'm saying. Where it's like, why is it not moving?
Adam, you got to show that again. And I'm gonna tell y'all this. Look for this first. When he shows this again, when old boy flips in the blue, pay attention to like his waist. Look at his waist. You can see on the corners of his hips how they're pulled up.
All right, we're gonna pull it up. Here we go.
This guy's doing a flip right here, and the guy next to him just reaches up.
Y'all seen it?
You see that?
I like I said, the reason why I don't know what to believe is because it's just like they said with the hair. So we're gonna look at this and we're gonna look at Gail King's version where they were in space, and it's just like, bro, it's mad confusing, bro. And I said on my stream, I'm like, bro, if it's real, bro, take somebody from who came from nothing and take them, and they'll let the people know, hey, this is real. This is actually going on.
But I can tell you how they can manipulate that though, because when I was in high school, I was Air Force Junior ROTC, and they would take us on different things. You know, we had crazy different field trips that we can go on, being a part of that. And they took us on this one flight where they will fly at like a certain angle at a certain speed, and for temporarily, you're literally by how the plane is sitting, you're kind of like weightless by just the way they fly. And that's not even going out of the atmosphere. That's just flying at a certain way and you dropping a certain way.
Yeah. Nah, man. I don't know what to believe, man. Like I said, y'all just watch this video. Here we go.
And grabs a harness that's right on his hip.
I gotta pause it real quick. I'm gonna pause it because the funniest part to me, well, there's several funny parts, by the way. But the lady in the background with the hair, it's like, did someone not think that like we've got to make her hair look like that, right? It's got to be standing up, dude. It is hard as a rock. It's not moving. You know, it's like this is somebody. We must be in space. Look at her hair. Like obviously,
there's more.
Thing called hairspray.
But wait, there's more.
This guy doing a backflip and
then gravity just like gravity goes away. It must have found a pocket.
Gravity goes away and he fell.
Yeah.
Yep. Or he got caught up in that harness he's wearing. Here comes the one with senior. In the background. Holy hell.
Y'all can't see it, but it looks like as if it's a blue screen or a green screen, if you will. And in that green screen, they're doing the same thing. They were just recording what you just seen.
And it's obviously a guy filming with a green tennis ball in front of a blue screen.
Right. Clearly, I mean, it's not even.
And then here's a clip of what they turned it into.
Here's his water particle.
Yep. Wow, this guy just disappears like, makes sense.
I'm good to go. Hey, I gotta go.
Yeah, I don't know what to believe.
Yeah, we got back there another green screen.
And this guy,
the ones where they're doing he's hanging his shirt like you can.
So you guys see that right there. I know the big play is in the way, but right there he's hanging. If you guys can zoom in, I can't really zoom in. Well, I can zoom in. Let me see if I can zoom in and you guys can see it. Hold on, let me see. Can you guys see me zoom in? Did you just see that?
Yeah.
Oh,
you see how his shirt is pulled up? It's the same. So it's the same way with the guy in blue.
Exactly. So that's the whole thing with being in space is like your body or your clothes aren't supposed to do that. And yes, shout out to Wesley. These are some good catches. Those are some great catches. I'm like, bro, but all it is just being able to
see the one with the bubbles that popped up. It's the video where the bubbles start going through.
I'm trying to tell you, and that's the thing. It's like we're living in the social media age now, so we can actually see everything because there's cameras everywhere, and that's the beauty of life. You can see stuff if you stop and look. Everything's being recorded, so we can go back and look at this stuff. That
reminds me of something, Matt. I'm gonna see if I can find this because if I can find this, I'm gonna send this to you.
Yeah.
Never mind. I'm gonna let you play. I'm gonna look for this.
Go
see,
ahead,
it's not even.
You
good.
can clearly see the artist. It's like if you take your hands right now and you grab your shirt and you just pull out.
Yeah.
Like it's. Yeah. This one's my favorite right here. The guy goes to reach for.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a doofus.
But watch their thing at the end. I think this guy's always in it, man. He's the biggest clown. Yeah.
He's the worst. Like they got to be like, hey Bob, we got to get you out of here, bro. Like you're blowing our.
Look at this.
Let me reach up there. Oh wait. Oh kung fu.
Here, I'm gonna pause it real quick. So
we have to. Then we.
So look, you guys see right there. He's holding his harness, supposedly. He's holding the harness that he has. Here we go.
I imagine this guy in the green that's doing this flip. Like when they're practicing, like, oh, this guy's got the shit, man. He nails every flip and you can never tell, right? So he's like the practice king of flips. But then whenever they go to film it, he gets nervous and he spoofs it up and grabs his harness.
All right, while Morpheus finds that next video, I'll show you guys this next one. So this is Blue Origin releasing the space footage. Here we go. And apologies if it's too loud. Let me know if it's too loud because I'm
you good. That's perfect.
Okay, cool. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. Take us space!
Tamir's in space.
Yeah, y'all tell us what y'all think, bro. I don't know, dog. I don't know. Cause look, I'm gonna tell y'all what I talked about. So look,
I got you, Flynn.
Gotcha.
Wait, I'm gonna show y'all. So look, they gonna show you the moon, bro. And I'm just like, bro, they'll,
how small the moon looks.
Yes, bro. And scientists will turn around and say, oh, it's because there's nothing else around some kind of bullshit. And you just like, bro, what are we talking about, bro? Wouldn't it make more sense if the moon looks closer because I'm closer to the moon? And they'll tell you that it's farther, especially because it's the only piece of light out there other than the sun, or it's a rock, but the light is passing through it. It would look bigger. But here we go.
Proud of you, son. Oh, the moon! You guys,
look at it! Look at it! Look at it! You
look
guys
at the
see
moon.
it? Look at this, boy.
That shit so tiny,
bro. I'm like, bro, I seen a bigger moon when I was driving the other day, man. That's crazy, dog. Here we go.
That's amazing.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Wow. Oh my That's our cute moon.
And the sun's not brighter.
But my thing is it's like I thought the moon. So they say the moon's a rock and the sun's passing through the moon. Like the light from the sun is passing through the moon.
I don't know about all that.
And then that's where I'm like, bro. So when she's saying that, I'm like, bro, is that not the sun? Isn't that supposed to be the sun? That's the sun. So it's like, what are we talking about?
Now it's time to pick out.
Now they could be in space. My thing is, if I was in space, me personally, I'll be tweaking, bro. Like I said, I'm not scared of anything. I will be tweaking out. Ninja, we in space. And for those you don't know, I don't be saying the N-word like that. I do sometimes. But if y'all hear me say ninja, I'm saying that word. Okay, that word. But ninja, can you imagine the space is real and you is, bro? I will be tweaking, bro. I will be losing it. I'll be like,
that'd probably be the only thing I would ever talk about again.
Bro, I'm telling, bro, and they acting like they just went up and went down like it was nothing. Bro, I would be praying, bro. I'm not even religious like that. I would be praying, bro. Like, God, oh my God, I can't believe what I just seen, bro. That's insane, bro. Here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Look, shout out to this comment. This comment says, so you mean to tell me space ain't nothing but 15 minutes up the road? They done left and came back home quicker than the 9 to 5. Exactly, bro. Exactly. No sense. It makes no sense.
Whoa. That's amazing.
Telling you, bro. So now here come the conspiracy theorists. I don't know what y'all believe. Here we go.
I found something really weird about the 11-minute trip to space that happened today. So if you didn't know, the first all-female crew went to space.
Pause. If you didn't know, they went up for 11 minutes. Shout out to Chris. Chris said, well, what's between the stars if there is no space? Now that's bars right there. Bars. Fam, I don't know.
Bro. Where the hell the stars at? I never understand that.
I don't, bro, I have no clue, bro. I don't know. I just don't know what to believe. And it's crazy because we're taught this as children. So you believe it. But when you get older, you just be thinking to yourself, like, is this real? Like, I don't know. Because they be talking about that firmament.
I sent it to you now. It's in Twitter.
On Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, how we gonna pull it up? Oh, well, I'll pull it up through my computer. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna play this while I'm pulling it up.
Space today for a couple minutes. It included people like Gail King, Katy Perry, and Lauren Sanchez, the fiance of Jeff Bezos. And watching from the bottom was Oprah Winfrey, Kris Jenner, Khloe Kardashian, a lot of celebrities involved with this. First of all, I want to talk about the outfits and the symbol in particular on the outfits. At first, it looks like just a rocket or a pod, whatever it is. But when you flip it upside down, it looks really interesting, almost like a symbol that we've seen before. And I'm not saying that this is anything demonic or anything like that, but I mean, the similarities, it's hard to ignore. I don't know who created the logo, but the outfits themselves were designed by Lauren Sanchez, and she collabed with the co-founders of Monse, which is a really popular brand. But anyway, here is a map of the flight that they took. It's done by...
So look, that's the map of the flight. And Morpheus, I got you. I just pulled it up. We about to switch over right now. But yeah, guys, that's the flight plan that they took, right? So if you can see, I can't really see it. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Let me see. So I zoom in. Hopefully you guys can see it too, because I'm on a different tab. But when we look, Blue Origin's 11-minute journey to the edge of space. Shout out to Morpheus. Morpheus said, okay, this is probably gonna be space tourism. So who's the target market? The target market is not people like me and you. The target market is people with money to burn, money to waste, so they can say we're on top of the world and we went to space. I don't mean to rhyme. It's just because I make music and stuff. My bad. But yeah, so when we look, it says the rocket hits its main point of maximum stress, main engine cutoff, capsule separates from the booster. What happened to the booster? The booster deploys, engine relight, never saw the booster. They went up for a couple minutes. And they went over the Kármán line, which is what it's called. And they officially entered space. And then the crew experienced that 3 to 4 minutes of weightlessness while being in space. And really what it was, when we say weightlessness, really what it was is they were coming down from going into space, and that's why they experienced the weightlessness. So, if you fall, you can go bungee jump or fall. What is it called? Skydive. You can go skydive and experience the same weightlessness. And that's where I'm like, okay, so did they really go to space, or they just did some form of a skydive inside of a capsule? And we're gonna switch over to the other tab. Morpheus, what you said?
No, that's exactly what I was talking about. Oh, this right here. Go ahead. These were the Apollo astronaut. Was it Apollo? I can't remember which one it was. The Challenger. Sorry, Challenger that blew up. These people were all supposedly dead. Now, these are pictures of people who look a whole lot like them years and years later. Now, they came up with, oh, well, that one is his brother, his twin brother, and this one is like a sister, and this is a cousin, and this person is just a coincidence. Like the lady up in the top corner, she literally goes by the same name, and she's like a professor at some college. These people are all supposed to be on the Challenger, which, if you're old enough, y'all remember it blowing up on live TV. And then these people who all eerily look like the people who supposedly died in the Challenger.
Yep. And there you have it, folks. I don't know what to believe.
I don't know. Black Adam, is it just me? Or do they look similar to those people to you?
Yeah, no, for sure. They look similar. Bro, when we get into it, like, it's weird because I talk about a lot of stuff in my stream. So, they can create clones. I'm sure you guys have heard of that kind of stuff. Not to switch the subject over. I'm just saying. So they can create clones. I don't know how long they've been able to do that, right? And that's the whole issue, because a lot of things that we see, like a lot of stuff that we have access to, you guys have to understand, like ChatGPT and all this stuff, we're not getting access to it the same time that the people in power are getting access to it. So, for example, this whole space tourism thing, we're seeing it now because it's being marketed, but we didn't see this before when they were trying to do it. Even when we said Elon Musk sending them rockets up, Elon Musk might have been trying to partake in that space tourism or whatever you want to call it as well. And that's the thing. We don't know. We only know what they tell us. So when we look at the people right here, they can potentially be clones. I done heard all kind of stuff. What's up, Morpheus?
Real fact. A lot of people don't know about when you talked about technology, you don't know when they necessarily got the technology. Just for comparison, in World War II, they already had a working F-16 fighter plane. They already had a working one. The only thing is they have to get it, approved and all that and go through all this other stuff, then mass produce it. But basically in the 1940s, they had the same equipment that was used in Vietnam, like 25 to 30 years later.
I'm trying to tell you, because the government has it first and then they test it and then they have to refine it. Like, look, I discussed this on my stream, and if y'all want to pop up,
Ania says right here, she was like,
phones,
those are the originals.
Yeah. I was.
Do you know? It's kind of funny. NASA is very similar to the word Nassar. Have you ever heard that before?
I have heard of it. I forgot the meaning though.
Nassar in Hebrew means to deceive.
Well, there you go. I was gonna say, like for example, with COVID, and I discussed this on my stream today. Like they discussed that, like COVID, they knew COVID was coming before COVID was coming. And I was discussing how, if the government was aware of this, why did they allow it to happen instead of stopping it? And that was the whole thing for me. So I was like, okay, so they knew like 6 months before COVID became a thing that COVID will potentially become a thing. And it was discussed by the World Economic Forum, I believe. And
Event 201.
Yeah, Event 201. So then after that, COVID happened. So it's like the same thing with all this stuff. They have an awareness, they have projections, they have people they pay. I don't know who these people are. I don't know what their actual job title is. I know they're getting paid and compensated well for what they do because nobody's supposed to know and they have to keep that a secret. They know certain things that we don't know, right? And they're not necessarily telling us, and they know how to do certain things ahead of time. So like everything we see with AI robots now, we're seeing versions of these things that they kind of tested and perfected enough to actually put in front of the populace. And then even then, when they put it in front of us, they're testing to see how we react to what we see. And the best example of that I can say is social media. Now on social media, a lot of times y'all might be getting into it with somebody and it's just a bot. You're talking to a bot and you won't even know until you actually click the profile and see they have no followers. And these are bots that will sit there and put real people. Like even one conspiracy theory I was thinking about, it's like if you go look on every single advertisement that's like for a big company, they put nice try Diddy. I don't know if y'all see that. It always says nice try Diddy, nice try Diddy, nice try Diddy, or nice try Super Diddy. And I'm thinking that is, it's trolls. No, these are bots. These are bots that are putting that out because that's the biggest thing to be talked about. Or during that time when I seen it, that was the biggest thing. So when we look at these space people, I ain't gonna lie, bro. They all look like the older version of them. Like they all live the good life. So we all have doppelgangers in the world, but I'm not entirely sure what to believe.
I did send you. Sorry, I copped off and didn't say anything, but I did send you another one because this was very interesting to tie in with this whole Blue Origin flight and this right here. Because I mean, I remember even like some of the stuff that happened with Russia, Ukraine. I talked about that and how it echoed a scene in what's that movie that Denzel Washington's son was in where everything went backwards?
That's Denzel Washington's son. I didn't even know that. That's his son.
Yeah. Dave,
shit.
Whatever. That's his son.
That's his son. Oh, yeah. Shit. I didn't know that. Fire, dude. Hey,
that nepotism stuff that you were talking about.
That's crazy. It makes so much sense now. That was a fire movie too. I didn't know that was his son. I don't know the name of the movie, but I know the movie you're talking about, where it's like it goes forward and at the same time it's going forward, it goes backwards. Then he sees himself, right? And he's like, "Oh shit." Tenet, yeah. Shout out to Chris. It was Tenet.
Exactly.
Tenet. It was Tenet.
That part where opera, when there's a big fire, that's very reminiscent to what happened not that long ago with Ukraine and Russia. But
hold on, let me pull up the other thing.
This what I just sent him. It ties into that. That's even better picture. Can you go closer in on? Yeah.
Hold up. All right, what are we trying to look at specifically right here?
Go down to the lady now at the bottom. See, look, it even talks about her, being a professor and all that. Oh, the one in the middle. There she is.
Judith Resnick.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Hey, shout out to the Fetty Gov. Remember this
becomes Carl McNair.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hey man, all I was gonna say, shout out to the Fetty Gov. Remember, this not my stream. This is Morpheus' stream. Don't come after me. Come after me.
My agent, he has a very thick file on me right now. He already
no. Yeah, guys. Everybody got an agent, guys. If you ain't know, they got somebody watching. Well, let me not scare you guys. I'm not finna scare your viewers. Let me stop. That's how I be feeling.
Oh, trust me. My viewers, they know because they watch stuff like my channel and other channels and talk about this different stuff. So we all know we in the crosshairs.
Oh yeah, man. Hey man, they watching, bro. But that's why I'm telling y'all, they be watching.
As a person of faith, I allow my protection, my hedge. I allow the Most High to do that, and I just go on ahead and keep operating it.
I feel you. I'm just
as His will is and how it's gonna happen. Then, hey, I go into it with no fear.
Hey, facts. I'm me personally. I'm gonna play it safe. I'm gonna just play it safe just in case. I'll be playing stupid. Like, I don't know what's going on. Cause I'll be a little worried. I'll be like, bro, these ninjas, bro, they watching, bro. Guys, if you don't think that they're watching, sometimes I talk about lower level stuff, like, I talk about music industry stuff and shit like that. So the perfect example of these people watching and paying attention is like, there's just a bunch of RICOs that have been going on with certain musical artists because they're doing stuff illegally and they think that the feds don't have access to it. They do. And that alone lets you know they're watching everything. If we can see this, if you guys can see us do this right now that we're doing on stream, they can watch you, bro. And you can't hide from it. When
they released the information about the Patriot Act, they showed how much they do it. And I mean, I got a show for y'all. I don't know if y'all like, because I like to show the seriousness with a little bit of entertainment for y'all. Look up the show Person of Interest. And if you see the show Person of Interest, it'll show you how they do this. And when people start talking about pre-crime and how they're gonna go after it. The movie Minority Report, they do it in a way with a little psychic and clones and all this other stuff, but there's a way that they can analytically do it, and that's the reason why they have all this data mining stuff going on. And like, there's a story which I ran across not that long ago about this location they found where there's all these servers that are just drawing all this massive information, and it's just nothing but computer servers in there running 24/7 data mining.
They call it farm. What is it
data
called?
farms?
Data farm? Yeah, data farm. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Data farm. Yep. Scary shit. And you just be like, bro, why am I seeing this on my algorithm? I'm like, bro.
Well, they showed us that in the movie. Believe it or not, that's the reason why I tell y'all. When I watch these movies entertainingly, but I also watch them cerebrally and understand. Oh, they slip little things in there. The movie Die Hard.
Y'all seen that?
The Die Hard where it has Woodlawn.
Y'all see that, right? Can y'all see this? Bro, that's what I'm saying. I'll be a little bit scared, bro. Do you see that, bro? I promise you guys.
Oh, don't worry. You got me. They trying to scare you a little bit. They do that.
If I'm lying, I'm flying, bro.
Oh, you can ask some of the people in here. They have literally stopped my stream midstream.
Same, bro. Drop my streaming on. I be telling people, I'm like, bro, somebody told me, shout out to one of my supporters, Jack. He was like, if they're trying to stop you from pushing your message, you probably have something important you have to say. And I was like, yeah, I'm just saying, because at the end of the day, I do what I do for entertainment purposes because I'm an entertainer. I know these things. We talk about these things because, like I said, we're part of the community. You can't wake everybody up. Shout out to the people who can be woken up, and the people that rock with me. I rock with them people. But I already know you can't save the world, because I used to tell my parents I want to change the world and save the world when I was younger. I know I can change the world, but I don't know if I can save the world. And I'm not saying I want to now that I'm older, because you understand certain things like systems and cycles are ingrained into the fabric of society.
You just got to look at it like this. Like, I remember, I don't watch a show anymore, but somebody, Tim Black, he used to say, you got to sprinkle some facts on them. And so what I'll do is, just like scripture will say, who has ears to see, ears to hear and eyes to see, that's who you're going for. So you put here. And if they pick up what you're putting down, good. That's all you can do.
Now, facts. I was going to say shout out to Chris. Chris said, first shout out to Lania. She said, if you're seeking the truth, check out Tomb of Illumination, Eric Dubai, John Thor, Bro Sanchez, Ironwork 92,000. I guess these are content creators.
Right on the screen.
Yeah, shout out to them content creators. And I was going to say, Chris said, these days I can understand why the elites are running and hiding in secret bunkers and not telling anybody. And this is something I discussed on my stream before. It's like, why would the elites create bunkers? Let's just start there.
They know what's coming.
Exactly. So what do they know that people don't know? Secondly, okay, so what can we do? Okay, we can't do anything. How soon would this happen? Okay, so we just don't know. All right, cool. So what can we do? You just gotta sit there and be like, well, it is what it is. Every man for themselves.
I covered the bunkers too.
Yeah. I covered the bunkers.
The luxury bunkers.
Yeah, the luxury bunkers. It's like, why would they create that? I believe that shit's gonna hit the fan. I don't know what it is. Well, I believe.
Did you know there's a show out there called Silo that's literally about people living in the bunker right now?
Nah, I ain't know about that show, but hey, shout out to them people that made that show. Yeah, I don't be watching TV like that no more where I'm at in my life, because I'm trying to it's a lot of shit I be trying to do, so I don't be having the time. That's why I try to stay away from the TV, because I be stuck like, damn, I want to see this show and then I want to binge watch. Yep.
Oh shoot, they done came got him. I'm just went. But let's see. Oh, excuse me. I keep trying to mute up when I do that. Oh, is he back?
I'm back. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, bro. Like I was saying, yeah. So I don't be watching TV like that. But yeah, bro, them bunkers is a real thing. I've seen like shows. I don't know if you ever seen The 100. The 100 is like a good representation of where society will go when shit hits the fan. So I'll be watching stuff like that. Or I've watched stuff like that in the past. I don't watch it too much. I might watch movies because I love movies like Morpheus. I like to watch movies and stuff. But yeah, bro, them bunkers is serious. It's a lot of diseases coming out, new kind of diseases. It's just weird, bro. And I mean, it's just life. We have to accept it for what it is and keep going through. Like Morpheus said, it's your time. When it's your time, it's your time. But you talked about the diseases, I remember the show Utopia.
I shared a clip from Utopia, and it killed my stream instantly, right then and there. And it literally said, YouTube cuts the stream or whatever. It gave me that message, and then it struck the stream down.
Bro,
and
y'all
then
seen this, bro? Did y'all just see that, bro? Bro, I'm telling you guys, I did not do that, bro. You see how the lights just messed up? I did not do that. That's some scary shit. But like I said, fear is not real, so I'll be on cool.
Well, that's
just did it again.
I'm telling you, you hook up with me, they gonna be on you.
Hey, bro. I promise, guys, this is not on purpose, bro. That's weird, bro. Some scary shit. Bro.
Did you get the other one that I sent you?
Let me see before they mess up my stream and then
Cause
I'm out the show because I don't know. That was weird. Hold on, let me pull up. You sent it to me through Twitter, right?
Yeah.
X. All right, yeah.
And this is something that, like, y'all know, occasionally I share some Larry Johnson stuff, not all of it, of course, but I just thought this was hella interesting.
Y'all ready? All right, here we go.
1, 2, 3. Taking up space!
Tamir's in space.
It's okay. Leave Lynn up there. Lynn, bye.
I got proud of you, friend.
What'd you say, Morpheus?
I said, did I sing you
the moon? You guys,
This is what you sent me. It says to Larry Johnson 7. They do all this stupid shit to fool you. Katy Perry was insufferable.
Oh no, I did sing you the wrong one. It was supposed to be
a different one.
It was supposed to be different. My bad.
And shout out to Chris. Chris was saying, like, I was trying to tell a friend what they tell us about Ukraine and North Korea and COVID is a lie. I was giving him proof of what to look up, and it was a fight to get through to this friend. Yeah, bro. Hey, Chris, you got to realize, bro, and I had to learn this, family.
Yes, allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly.
That'll get you in trouble on YouTube talking about.
Yeah, allegedly. Nah, I was gonna say, you can't wake everybody up. You can't wake everybody up, and allegedly too, for entertainment purposes only. Personally, I didn't get vaccinated.
That COVID will get you in trouble.
Yeah,
I had a couple of streams get taken down, and
I'm gonna delete my comments. But yeah, personally, I didn't get vaccinated because I was worried, because I was like, bro, like, who's the test subjects, bro? And not saying, I didn't have a job. I haven't had a job for a couple of years. I just do what I do. I kind of stick and move. So, I didn't really get vaccinated. And I felt like it was a whole thing. But like, for example, Ukraine, North Korea, whatever's going on, we don't actually know what's going on because our media is suppressing their media. Look, shout out to Yonina. She said YouTube removed the video on how to make structured colloidal silver. And yeah, bro, it's like I said, you guys, like, if you wanted to see the truth, and I seen this in a video, you would have to go into their server and put their server into your computer to actually see what's going on in their country. It's not the same stuff. We're not showing the same stuff. It is what it is. It's just how it works.
Yeah, I guess the one that I was trying to show y'all, it was a Reese Witherspoon movie that was almost like identical to this, what just happened here. And I mean, almost to even the way the craft, it's separated and it had the open windows. It just, the difference is it's Reese Witherspoon and it's two guys. And the one guy is supposed to be like a billionaire or something. So instead of the billionaire's fiance or girlfriend going up, like what happened in real life, in the show, the billionaire is the one who went up, which this honestly too is giving me vibes of that movie Don't Look Up. All of this is giving me vibes of Don't Look Up.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I don't know, fam. Like I said, I try not to think about this stuff too much because it's very exhilarating for me. It's very uncomfortable. And the reason why is just because it's a little bit off, man. It's a little bit off. What I can say is when it comes down to the whole space thing, I don't know what to believe. Personally, I don't know what to believe. I'm not gonna say they didn't go up because I'm not gonna invalidate that. Only reason why I'm not gonna invalidate that is because I don't want to be loud and wrong. But I am skeptical. I always say that I'm skeptical. send somebody normal, because they never send anybody. Send somebody normal who has no experience, nothing like that, and let us watch them the whole time.
I put it in the private chat.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna pull it up. 1 second.
Yeah, I finally found the right one.
Okay, here we go. Share this tab instead. Boom. Let me X this one out. Ready? Here we go.
March 16th, live on the morning show.
All right. The G's can be a little intense, but it's only for the first couple of minutes.
This is nothing. I used to fly Spirit Airlines.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Stand by to launch.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hyperion 1 has cleared the job.
Keep it.
That is absolutely incredible. The power of this thing, that it takes a lot of juice to punch a hole in that sky.
And in a moment, we'll be seeing footage of Earth from the rocket itself. Hyperion 1 will reach a top speed of 2,250 miles.
And real quick, I wanted to stop it to say, some comments said all that money wasted on lies. And I'm like, bro, I always ask myself, why would they spend so much money to lie about it? Why would I spend so much money to lie about it? And the only thing that would make sense is so humans, us, can make sense of the world, because we don't know what's what. We know what they tell us. And how do we, back in the day, as people started to get more and more, evolve, whatever you believe in, as we started to understand things more, we wanted to make sense of it all. So how can we make sense of it all? And I feel like they created these constructs to help keep us, or keep our minds from like going kablooey, right? From going kablooey. Hold on, let's finish the video.
The all-knowing mind, empty and radiant.
Now look, hold on, let me stop it. I don't mean to stop it, y'all. Y'all know what it is. It's how we do it. The streaming ish. We got to kind of comment and speculate and discuss what's going on. So doesn't that look familiar? And if it doesn't look familiar, let me show you real quick how familiar it looks. Hold on. Let me make this smaller.
Yep.
What does that look like right here?
1, 2, 3. Take up space.
All right, let me go back to the other one. Here we go. Stop. Let me go back to the other one. Here we go.
Come here, space.
It's okay. Leave Flynn up there. Flynn, bye.
Flynn, I gotcha. I gotcha, Flynn.
Gotcha. Proud of you, Flynn.
I don't know what's believe, dog. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing we say is art always imitates life. Always remember that, folks. Art imitates life. Here we go. I don't mean to keep stopping it, but I got to show the similarities and comparisons. Here we go. Now, space is real, of course. Of course, it would make sense naturally to follow that it would do this. But here we go.
Oh, the moon. You guys,
I will have to tell you.
Look at that tiny moon, bro. I can't get over that one, dog. These people play too much. Here we go.
Look at the moon.
Look how tiny it is. And then look,
That's amazing.
She's gonna see the sun and call the sun the moon. Here we go. Now, of course, she may not have known, and we're deep diving. Pause. You know, we dissecting it, but come on, bro.
Wow, look at the blue line.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goddess.
Wow.
Your goddess. I guess the sun. Look at the sun, bro. So can you look at the sun? I thought you couldn't look at the sun like directly at the sun if you're in space. That's what I heard, bro. Because you can actually see the rays because you're out of the atmosphere or whatever. Maybe they didn't leave the atmosphere. I don't know. Here we go.
Oh my That's our pink moon.
And look, she said, "That's my whatever moon. That's not the moon."
Okay.
Okay, let's go back to the other one. 1 second. And here we go.
Bradley, this is incredible. Can you tell us what you're seeing? I mean, how did things look from up there?
Hi. After 2 years of a pandemic and now a war in Ukraine.
2 years of pandemic. What are the odds? Here we go. And a
You
war in
even see
Ukraine.
they threw the sun in right after that, just like how it was on the other one.
Here we go.
It's incredible
Crazy,
to
bro.
look down and see how connected we all are.
It's so tragic.
Edge of Space on Wednesday.
And there you have it, folks. I don't know what to believe, man.
Well, I honestly believe this is like a multifaceted propaganda. Right here, Linnea says it always to reinforce the false heliocentric model. I believe it's a big part of it. Also, it's supposed to be a distraction, like for Trump, they call it flooding the zone. And I think he's not the only person flooding the zone. I think there are propaganda people who are flooding the zone with all kind of stuff to distract us from paying attention to certain things. And I believe one of those major things to distract us from is some of the atrocities that are going on around the world. We had whole population groups being wiped out, land being stolen. And it's the people who are on the other side of that, y'all know what I'm talking about, or been losing the propaganda war. They can't BS us anymore. They can't BS most people. And they're losing the narrative. And they even got the younger group that in another 20 years or so, they're not going to have the people there to be able to defend them. And so since they can't defend the argument, what do? Bury it. Bury it, bury it, bury it. Let's not talk about it. Let's get them talking about anything else. It's another reason why y'all don't hear the media really talking about Ukraine anymore, because they've been talking about how Ukraine been giving Russia the business. Well, why are they quiet now? Well, what's going on over there?
It was just good for the narrative at that point in time. Crazy.
Well,
That's to distract.
Ukraine is getting dusted right now. That's why. And so now your side is losing. Your side of the proxy war is losing. You don't want to fess up that y'all losing now.
Man.
Now let's talk about it.
Yeah.
And then the crazy part about it, the cold part is all these European countries who jumped on the American bandwagon on this proxy war, y'all literally had to suffer for this war. And now y'all losing on top of it. And now y'all want to act like nothing happening.
Yep.
Y'all all thought that y'all could secretly send in troops and weapons and all of that and weaken Russia. And Russia came out stronger on the other side of this. But y'all don't want to just fess up and tell the truth.
Yeah, and y'all got to remember too, bro. You know, the wars are funded by the governments. Like, they got proof. Like, I don't have it. I might bring it next time I come through. They got proof that like, I don't remember what president it was, but the president basically was funding terroristic organizations with American money to keep the war going, and they're making money off of it. And that's the world we live in. And that's why I say, when you see behind it, like I have a song, y'all check out my music, it's called Target Practice. Yeah, that's when I can say I kind of got older, because I realized it's all fake. I said in the song, I say it's all fake, even charity, because you don't realize that they're taking the stuff and they're saying that they're doing one thing and they're turning around and doing a completely different thing. And it's so many things that your brain can't keep up with. So after a while, like I said, it crumbles you from the inside, and you got to kind of pull yourself out of it, because it's like, you know, you can't believe that that's really what it was, and come to find out that's really what it was. So, you know, Y'all just gotta stay prayed up, man.
I gotta give you my number after this. We got
yeah, we gotta chop it up, dog. I gotta put you on a bit of game that I know out here, man. And you know, I think you need that game to go to the next level. But you're gonna be good though. You're gonna be good, guys. You know, unfortunately, guys, I gotta help Black Madam out with some stuff. So I honestly have to dip. But I appreciate everybody.
We're about to close it out right now because
okay.
that's basically what I had. I mean, I always keep a couple of other things just in case. But since I'm still fighting this, I'm still fighting. Well, now it's down to a cold. It was a flu last week.
Oh, you were sick.
Sorry, but
you good?
I made it through the stream mostly. I had muted a couple times to you know let it out. But this was a great stream. I wanted to get. I literally saw y'all. I spotted Black Adam's show a minute ago. I'm like, man, I think that me and him, we vibe real good. I like the information. I see what he's hitting out there, but I see what he's not saying. And I see, you know, so I just wanted to, introduce my audience to him. Y'all come over, y'all check out his work. Y'all help the brother out. Y'all check out his music. Y'all check out what he's doing over there in his live streams. And I want to get him into the community over here. I want to get him linked with some of these other content creators, especially, you know, because there's kind of a little mini content creator atmosphere that I'm kind of looped into with some other content creators. And now that I see you were, you know, you stepped your toes into our political world. I'm like, yeah, we got to bring him on over, and I got to introduce him to some folks, and
yes,
you know,
sir.
He can start collabing with more of these people. And I don't know. We need to do some talking. I might steal you for myself and get you a part of this political matrix family. So, you know,
hey, we gotta see. Hold on, let me show them my stuff real quick.
Yeah, definitely. Plug whatever you need to. That way they can know any kind of information that you got, whatever you got going on. I know you got a bunch of different things, and then after that, we can go on ahead and get out of here. Much appreciation to everybody who hopped in the stream too.
For sure. Hey man, y'all follow me on Spotify. Anywhere you listen to music, man. Let me I think I'm sharing it. Yeah, I should be sharing it. Yeah. So you know what it is. It's your boy BA, man. Y'all go listen to me, man. I'm not bad, I'm nice, I'm decent. If y'all want to hear a piece of my music, I mean I would play it, but it's too much work. But y'all can find all my links right here. Like I said, this is Black Adam out of music. It's a weapon. Join the Atom Effect into the core. Burn the script. Awaken. The resistance is real, and you're not alone. That's just my motto. It's something I stand by. You know, I'm smiling because it feels good to it feels good to believe in yourself. That's all I can say, man. Past that, like I said, man, y'all check out my music. I'll play y'all a song. That's how I usually close out my streams. I play y'all a song. Y'all could rock with. Hold on. Let me I don't even know. Like I said, all my links right here. I'm getting used to this. I'm new to this, not true to this, but I'm still true to this on the inside. You feel me? So let me close out with the song I was telling you guys about. Actually, Target Practice. 1 second, let me pull it up. Shoot, Target Practice. This old though, but it just sets the tone.
Black Adam. Yeah.
Adam like a cheat, things is looking like it's out of mind. Like when I had my first baby, yeah, her name is Melody. Leave it on the ground, leave it in the leaf. I've been working hard, ain't to get sleep, Coley. I could barely sleep, Donkey on the night, cold. It's a scary piece, so I barely speak. Life shit is so temporary, but it's necessary. All my shit is so extemporary. Niggas won't beef, damn that shit is so unnecessary. This Sigma shit is so hereditary. I just laid my granny in the cemetery. I'm black, bitch, I live every day like it's February. God gave me life clarity. Money over everything, even more than the air we breathe. Damn, it's all fake, even charity. No abiding by the rules, politics can have me fucked up. But yeah, like I said, I'm talking in double entendres. It's not my job to show y'all my music. Like I said, y'all go listen to that. I got a dip, but I appreciate Morpheus for having me on here, and I appreciate all of y'all for inviting me, and I felt very welcome. At first, I was a little uncomfortable because, I had to peep the scene. I had to see what's going on, but I like what y'all doing here. Hey, man, keep being a community, man. Y'all build up. Like I said, if you try to join the resistance. We do this for you guys, and that's pretty much it.
All right, y'all. Again, Black Adam,
yes,
thank you for coming through. We're gonna link up. We're gonna talk more, and y'all definitely gonna see Black Adam a lot more. Whether he's on here, whether I'm just plugging his channel as something that he might be talking about. So I want to make sure that we do that. We support other content creators. Let me get you to it right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say text me your number. I didn't want to interrupt. I was gonna say email me your number, text me your number.
And I just making sure that we up and like me, I try my best to always look for average people, smaller content creators. I hate going to these big, huge channels. Granted, some of my content creator friends have become big names now. Well, they probably would still consider themselves small, but some of my friends, they going on shows with 1 million subscribers and stuff, and so big ups to them. And what all these content creators, just support independent content creators and try to avoid going on these. Try to avoid looking for the biggest names or the first ones that you see in the algorithm. Scroll down a little bit further. Keep scrolling down and look for these people who are not getting attention, because these are the people who are the real ones and the true ones, and who are going to give it to you how it is, and not just be doing it for every little dollar that they can make because they're influenced, because this is their job. So just stay with the true ones, and much appreciation to y'all. This has been the Political Matrix. I'm your Morpheus, here with my brother Black Adam, and y'all have a blessed, beautiful weekend, great week, and we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, sir. Happy Easter.
All right, happy Easter. Peace.